Now, I would just like to make it clear for anyone who doesn't understand what the dislike thing is about. They're not taking away the ability to dislike videos. They're just taking away the ability to see how many dislikes are on the videos. I know that that's a tricky thing for some of you, but there is a difference. How are we all doing today? I thought you were living in my sink. Now, of course, some of you are going to be wondering, why are we streaming so early? And the answer is, well, most of you can't read a schedule. I figure I might as well give that a shot and not read the schedule as well. Not that it matters. We missed the Monday stream. Oh no, how horrifying. So this is a general breakdown of schedule as is right now. I don't know if we're gonna watch everything, get to everything on Thursday. I didn't factor in that that's kind of like Thanksgiving, so maybe we'll watch all those videos. Probably not. It'll probably be like 2 or 3 hours at most, just to kind of keep the momentum going, get a little bit of coverage done. But then Saturday is going to be the big Acer Thorns stream. It only takes us 10 hours to cover two hours of video, so that's 5 hours. 5 hours for every 1 hour of video. That one's 3 hours long. So do you get the Dunmer waifu? No. You get the Imperial man. That's right. Been great injustice. Friday, please. Thanksgiving. No. I'll stream at the wrong time, but I won't stream at the wrong day. That's just pushing it too far. Saw a clip of Invincible in the Oblivion video. Thoughts on the series? It's alright. It's, well, I don't know. It's got issues, to be sure, but, you know, at this point, what show doesn't? So I was playing with the settings and I saw something amusing. I can just give me 1 second. This will hit even harder if I disappear for a second. All right, and I'm back. For some reason, there is a focal length setting for the virtual camera that doesn't actually exist, and if I turn it down all the way, this happens. So yeah, it's pretty funny. This is the world. That's the world Dagother wants to live in. Now, what did this say? Dunmer waifu, give me hateful energy needed to complete today. I don't know if this is the right time of year for hateful energy. We gotta do positivity here, right? Because that's kind of the thing that we gotta lead into with the with these smaller channels starting in, oh god, we're gonna be streaming in December. Yeah, these smaller channels, we gotta be more be more positive. The decision I came to was what was it? What can you do better? But like it's a joke because what can you do, right? But yeah, so I decided I would cover a lot of those like smaller videos as long as they have like more than like I don't know 10,000 views or something. You know, they're not like just some guy ranting into a microphone. But we have to be nice. We don't have to be nice, but it's gonna be a lot more sort of I don't really know how to explain it. How does Ulfric inherit the legacy of Windhelm's immigration haven when he wasn't a part of that legacy and would have been actively opposed to it if you were around? One, you don't know if he would have been actively opposed to it. And two, he inherits that legacy because he inherited the Jarlship from his father. So that's kind of how that works. I actually did the Stormcloaks questline today, and I'm going to be honest, chat, you are wrong. You're literally wrong about fucking everything, okay? Let me explain to you why you're wrong. I had it on good authority from the chat that Galmar Stonefist would be just a flaming bigot, right? Like Deep South Klansman style bigotry, right? I play it, and I am thoroughly unimpressed with the racism that's on display in the Stormcloaks questline. In fact, I'd go so far as to say the Imperials questline, absolutely more racist. Just because of General Tullius. Like, General Tullius raises the temperature, right? But, like, Galmar's, like... So he asks you up front, like, if you play an elf and you do the Stormcloaks, he asks you up front, why does an elf want to be a member of the Stormcloak Resistance? But then he's like, it's not an issue of you being an elf. It's an issue of you being a foreigner to Skyrim. And then, like, Galmar is actually really cool. Like, he's a really cool character. And he's a lot better than Legate Ricka, if I'm going to be completely honest. I think the biggest issue with the Stormcloaks is that they made some of the areas worse by these sort of regime changes that they brought around. Whiterun's kind of medium. I know everybody likes Jarl Balgruuf, but I think that's just because they're like exposed to him. Like I think Vignar running the city is not a terrible issue. Falkreath, definitely an issue. Don't want that demented old man running that hold. I mean, Sidgeir was a problem. That's definitely to be sure. But Dengir isn't much better. I like that Morthal gets taken over by just some person. Like, I don't even think Sorley the Builder is from Morthal. She's like from some mining town in the hold. But that's who takes over Morthal. And I'll be honest, I like Ingrid the Crone a lot better as leader of Morthal. The Reach is definitely worse, so you don't want the Silverbloods in charge. Especially after, you know, 20 years of using the Forsworn to kind of knock off their political opponents. And then, like, the only thing that's, like, Elisif stays Jarl of Solitude, and that's, like, the weirdest part. I get that she's got, like, the Layla Lawgiver effect, where it's, like, she's a really good person, but, I don't know, she kind of just, like, flips sides way too easily. We should put Madanek as King of the Reach. I mean, honestly, wouldn't it be really interesting if it were possible for you to actually give the Reach back to the Forsworn? Lawgiver is a good person. She has a terrible cabinet. But she's like one of the few good people in Rift and Hold. Like, I never got the impression that like she's just playing a character. I think the racism in Elder Scrolls is kind of weak. If they're going to add racism, then characters should actually be racist. For example, playing an Argonian should be a different experience. I agree in probably shades. I think you don't want to add sort of discrimination for the minority races in each game, but you should add an advantage for the sort of native race. So it's like, it's not that the Nords, it's not that they're bigoted against Argonians, it's that just like the Nords get an advantage. Oh yeah, the saddest part of the Civil War was you can go in the Blue Palace during the Battle of Solitude, and you can go down to the sad basement where everybody who gets kicked out of their hold hangs out at during the war. It is legitimately one of the saddest design things that I've ever seen in a Bethesda game. The Shame Dungeon. Yeah, I like the sad basement because it's something that has to exist out of necessity. I had to go to the sad basement to talk with Balgriff's son about why he's sad to get the ebony blade. Seemed fitting there. Well, yeah, so the reason the sad basement exists is that there's a number of quests that they don't want to kind of gate off if you don't do them right. So they have to have those NPCs stay in the world, but it doesn't make sense for them to actually be in the hold. So they just like have this room for all the banished Jarls to live in. Is there a Stormcloak sad basement? I think it's the upper floor of the Palace of Kings, but I never actually checked. Do I have 2 or 3 monitors? So I had 3 monitors at one point, but I don't have the desk space for that kind of setup. So I have 2 monitors. But I own 3. I was roleplaying a devout pilgrim of Kinnereth, and the game literally had no option for me to say I'm not a heretic, sorry to bother you. The most I got was remain silent. Yeah, Skyrim's weird in that certain things that you have to roleplay require foreknowledge of, like, what you can and can't do. Otherwise, it can end up creating sort of issues for your character. I mean, you could always, like, leave the room, I guess. I'm sure I'm gonna get that a lot in the comments. Well, if you don't want to be a werewolf, you could just leave the room. They give you the choice. So, is it 15 after yet? No. I like to give people 15 minutes to get in here. Get this show started. For some reason, my stupid Gloomwood tweet, like, took off. And I don't understand it because, like, it's not successful. But, like, I keep getting notifications about it. Because they got, like, so I never saw the, there's this infamous, like, Gloomwood kind of, article. Well, it's not about Gloomwood. It's, like, why 2.5D games shouldn't be made or some crazy shit like that. And this was like the first time that I was actually seeing it in detail. I like saw it when it was like new because I follow a bunch of like immersive sim people and they all got pissed off about it. But like I just posted a quote from it and like 2 screenshots because like so the sentiment was my modded Thief 2 looks better than this new indie game. And one, it didn't. And two, that's a really fucking stupid thing to say. And so I just posted it on Twitter and like it got around. Who the hell said this? Like literally some guy. Hang on. I'll pull it up for you. Or we'll have a quick little detour. All right. Reading browser on, Premiere off, of course. Yeah, the reading browser's missing. No, that won't work. Why isometric 2.5D RPGs should never come back by Jester. This is hosted on, I don't know what this website is, gndtech.com or some shit. I don't know. You guys like this whole article about like why, so if you don't know, 2.5D refers to a mixture of like 3D environments and like kind of sprite work, and then it's presented from this angle, right? But his main position was that like games should really be made in 3D. It's a hot take. I mean, it's like, the way I put it was like, it's kind of akin to like saying that like you shouldn't do sprites for 2D platforms anymore because there's like 3D now, and it's like, well, if that were the case, then like a game like Cuphead would never get made, right? So this is like a really dumb position to take, because I'm sure there is some indie dev out there who is like doing loving work on like insane sprites and what have you to kind of make this cool. And it's like, to just say that like, oh yeah, well 3D games look better is really dumb. But then it's like, so he gets to this part of the article and he shows like, so here's Gloomwood, and then here's his copy of Thief, and it's like, modded Thief, a 1998 game. Gloomwood tries to copy Thief textures, but my Thief is using higher resolution, much better looking ones. So this modded 1998 game is leaving the 2020 demo in the dust in that regard, while otherwise looking similar. And it's like, I kind of disagree. I'll be honest. Gloomwood looks a lot better than Thief, but I mean, they've also had, 20 years. And then like, he like sources this, which is the dark mod, which is Thief and id Tech 4. He's like, this obliterates Gloomwood visuals in every way. This is like just one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever read. I didn't actually read it though. I kind of just looked at the pictures, because it's not my fight, right? I'm not the immersive sim man. Visuals don't really matter. Well, it's like, yeah, you're like splitting hairs over, minute differences, when it's like there wasn't even an objective kind of standard for which one looks better. I think Gloomwood looks better. A lot of people think Gloomwood looks better because it's like got modern lighting. Why do you have a female avatar? You're a guy. Oh, okay. I can show you why I have a female avatar. Okay. Because male anime avatars look like shit. They look terrible. They look garbage. I'm sorry, but the modeling software is for chicks. It's for girl characters. Plus, what? You want to stare at a man all day? That was exactly the same thing Yandere Dev said. Well, yeah, I think it's just kind of true. Like, I find it a fun gimmick, and I don't see the issue. So let's pop over here. So I am working. We're not in YouTube today. You can see I can mouse all over the screen and the playback thing doesn't pop up. We're actually in Premiere, which is the old school way that I used to do these before, when Premiere was good. Premiere is no longer good. So I have the Bethesda Podcast downloaded. Now I'm going to relegate myself to the Skyrim parts, which I went ahead and looked ahead for you. It starts at episode 6 of Bethesda Podcast. The first 5 episodes are like, there was a lot of like New Vegas stuff. There was like 3 or 4 New Vegas episodes. I downloaded all of them, so if that ever disappears, I would be able to put them back up. But we're just going to do the Skyrim ones. Because what I'm going to do is, we're working on this. This will be a video project that I ended up putting on the second channel, and it'll just be like compiled Skyrim podcast. Main thing is like identifying who's who and then having their name on the screen. Please no more videos with bad Skyrim takes. Well, that's sort of the deal. Is Monday is supposed to be the day where we like kind of chill with watching videos and kind of focus more on the boring Bethesda corporate talk. What's my worst Skyrim take? I don't know. I can't smile. I can only pout. I can pout, and I can do this. This isn't smiling. This is broken. And then what's this? This is like a sad face or something. I mean, you jest about the hold lines thing, but like I was talking to Sabella Stenton or whatever her name is, and like that's basically the argument she makes is like are you gonna keep posting that the male model has breasts? Yes, thank you. We acknowledge that the first stream that he was in, that it's really weird that male models have breasts too. Does it ever get brought up that Elisif has a vampire in her court? No. So let's get this show on the road. Let's see, hang on. I need to actually volume mixer. I need to turn down Premiere before I fucking kill everybody in the audience. Or at least blow their headphones out. There you go. I thought of you guys for once.
Rated RP2M.
Alright, I'm Matt. Oh, is that...
Hang on. Actually, I'm curious. Why is it on that audio device? Because that's the background music audio device. I need it to be on yeah, channels 3. So I have finer volume control.
Rated RP2M.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Never mind. I didn't think of you guys. I forgot. I had to go into the volume mixer again and turn it down again because I switched audio devices. All right, let me go ahead and cut out the part where it says the rating, because that's just dumb.
All right, I'm Matt.
Oh,
Is that too loud?
well, I thought you were gonna say I'm Matt Grandstaff, so
Oh,
that threw
right.
me off.
Okay.
This
I'm Matt
is usually
Grandstaff.
how it goes.
Yeah, we
Even when I'm not hungover.
You know, it's just your name, dude.
I'm Matt Grandstaff.
well now it's
This should be the actual intro.
Yes.
yeah.
Go.
Okay. I'm Matt Grandstaff.
Todd Howard sounds pissed already.
And I'm Nick Brecken.
I'm Todd Howard, and welcome to the Bethesda Podcast.
Yeah, I literally don't care about the host. I just want to know about Todd. So. The stream is really quiet. Can you turn it up? Oh, Jesus Christ. There's always one. There's always one. Am I quiet? Is it quiet? Or is it that if I turn it up anymore, I will literally deafen 100 people?
You should have acted. They're already here. The Elder Scrolls told of their return.
Jesus Christ. Are
The
they
defeat
really...
was merely a delay.
Are they really just playing like the
For the
trailer?
time after Oblivion opened, when the Sons of Skyrim would
Alright, so I'm going to make an executive decision. When I rehost this on my channel, I'm not including this part with the trailer. I know
the
that...
Elder Scrolls
Hang on, where does it start?
To the Bethesda Podcast.
I'm not including this trailer part because everybody doesn't need to
after
hear it.
Oblivion opened.
They really are just like... So how much of this podcast was like literally a minute 16? Okay. Cut that down.
Podcast.
So welcome back to the show. We have a very special show, obviously, because it's not like there hasn't been anything going on here.
Many of you might have seen the VGAs over the weekend, and we finally unveiled the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
Yeah, and here with us today to talk about the whole shebang is Todd Howard.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
There's something weird about the audio where it's like panoramic or something. I think what it is it needs to be in, it's like it's recorded in mono, but it's in stereo and it's like slightly off. Like, is anybody else noticing that? Let me make a new track. Make it a mono track. Just shove that shit in there.
I'm tired. Busy.
And look at that, it stopped. It's really hard to hear, but it's like literally a fraction of a second off between the two tracks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good, though. Great. Excited.
It's good to have you. So the VGAs were over the weekend. Can you talk a little bit about your experience?
All right, I'm gonna give you guys a bit of a lesson here. 1 second, while I screenshot this to show you what it looks like. This is called a click. People who are professional podcasters, cut this shit out. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. Here's what it sounds like. Yeah, it doesn't sound good. Cut that shit out, and now it's not there.
I mean, it's always a little... The main experience is where it's a mix of excitement in finally announcing the game.
Right.
Some
All right, so I know what you're thinking. Everybody knows it's Todd Howard. Yeah, okay, we got it. We're just putting it on the screen, setting up the format. They cut what out? They didn't cut it out. That's the issue. I had to cut it out for them. All right, so I'm not gonna fucking put the hosts on there though.
I mean, it's always a little.
Yeah, we could put the date on there too. Date is December 16th, 2010. Fucking coordinate values. Oh shit. Okay. 268. Okay. All right, cool. And I'll just drag this out. Oh wait, hang on. Oh shit. Cut that. New text layer. The issue would be it was going to have Todd Howard on there. Okay. December 16th, 2010. I mean, I think Todd Howard's the only guest on this, but all the same, I need to have the option open. Todd didn't voice anyone in Skyrim. Not that I'm aware of, but that's like not the kind of thing I know yet, really.
I mean, it's always a little. The main experience is where it's a mix of excitement in finally announcing the game.
Right.
Something that obviously a game we're excited about, and the fans have been clamoring for a long time.
Yes.
And
See, there it is again. It's this sound. Yeah, it's like kind of like a verbal tick that some people have. Cut that shit out. It doesn't add anything. Makes it sound worse.
Yes.
and so, and when you work on something for that long, we've been working on it for years and years, and we actually started designing the game after Oblivion. A long, long time. You want to be able to say, this is what we're working on.
Right.
So it's a mix of that with trying to keep it secret.
Right.
So the VGAs, it was less about getting on TV and showing a trailer and more about, is this going to be...
I would leave the like verbal tics of him kind of spacing his lines out. You would leave that in because that's more kind of human characteristics, but like literally leaving in like the like pops and click sounds. No, you wouldn't do that.
Trying to keep it secret.
Right.
So the VGAs, it was less about...
They don't edit these. It's a continuous recording. My guy, I do continuous recordings like this, and I edit them out. Do you understand how rigorous my audio editing is?
Getting on TV and showing a trailer and more about, is this going to be kept a secret for another 24 hours? We have kept this a secret for years. Is it going to stay bottled up for another 24 hours?
I think it pretty much did, which is amazing.
It did, yeah. And
That,
so
that
we
rarely
wanted,
happens in this industry. It's pretty.
we wanted it to be a surprise. The trailer, I don't even call it a teaser trailer. It's an announcement trailer.
Right.
It only really works if you know zero, including the name and the date. So if people already knew, I didn't feel what we were going to show would be that interesting. But it was all designed to even, okay, when the thing starts, you don't know what it is.
Wow, there's Todd Howard. There's the Elder Scrolls. Holy crap.
These guys are Bethesda employees too. That's like the weirdest part. Like, there's a reason Bethesda Podcast isn't a thing anymore, and it's because like the quality level was kind of low, and two, like it's really uninteresting to have like two Bethesda employees that are kind of scared of their boss, kind of having to like bounce off of Todd. So they do like a really bad interview because it's like, well, you can't ask any good questions. Unless you don't want to have a job.
And yeah,
And so that's how you end up with like the holy crap, it's Todd Howard.
there's the Elder Scrolls. Holy crap! And yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I think Jeff Keighley tweeted something like that. You were basically snuck backstage. You know, you didn't do like a red carpet or anything like that. You were.
Were you in one of the robes?
No,
You were just,
no,
like infiltrating.
I wasn't in a robe. It was fun. You know, you get to.
There's another one.
It was fun. You know, you get to see some of the other celebrities backstage, and
There's another one.
I'd say my biggest worry was people finding out beforehand,
Right.
which I think would completely ruin it, or there would be cheesy in some way. Having been to the VGAs a bunch, there are many things that come across cheesy, in my opinion, and that was I wanted to make sure it had the right tone, and the Spike guys wanted to, you know, make it a production thing. So there was, you know, they did the monks and all that, and we gave them the background art. But until I got there, I had no idea what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
So, you're going to walk through hooded monks. I was like, I don't
Now,
know.
did you have a pattern that you needed to go through? Because I've watched it a few times now, and it looks like you're Barry Sanders or something, kind of weaving in and out of monks.
Yes.
Yeah?
There actually
That should have been your
was...
code name, Barry Sanders.
Yeah. Well, first you have to dodge the monks. And they had these
Well, yeah, because it's like they're not talking about the game. They're talking about the marketing. It's like we have to do a podcast on Skyrim because that's the big thing that's going on with Bethesda. But there's nothing that we can actually say. So the end result is like they're just talking about the marketing.
basically I describe them as pipes that come up out of the stage to do the smoke.
Right. So you had to know where those were, too.
Yeah, but you can't see them because of the smoke. So I guess the main thing was, I was like, I hope this isn't cheesy, and I hope I don't trip. I'm fairly comfortable getting up there and...
1 second. Just gonna keep that in the sound bites. Go
So
on.
I guess the main thing was, I was like, I hope this isn't cheesy, and I hope I don't trip. I'm fairly comfortable getting up there and doing that. It was the whole, how is this going to just come across?
Yeah.
But, like, 10 minutes beforehand, when I knew that it hadn't been tweeted yet, I was feeling good. I'm
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
this won't get ruined.
Yeah, it's got to be a,
I mean, well, let's be honest. Who would have cared? Like, who would have who was the guy that worked behind the scenes at the VGAs who was going to be the big threat of, like, leaking Skyrim? I mean, at the time, legitimately. It's like 2010. It's been 4 years since an Elder Scrolls game has come out, Fallout 3 is pretty recent, but I mean, like, Bethesda wasn't what they are now. I'm trying to get sort of a mental grasp on the period of time when when Bethesda kind of entered into this serious cult of personality.
pretty cool for the team, too. And, you have a lot of guys that are new to the team. The team's grown pretty substantially since
I wouldn't
Fallout
say it's
3.
grown substantially. Maybe 20 people.
No, that sounds right.
So we went from maybe 70, no, more than that, 100 now. We're at 100.
That's pretty
Yeah,
big.
that is. You're
Yeah,
right.
that's-
I have to think back. Yeah, it's probably 25.
Wow.
30 people since we finished Fallout. Lot of great people.
Cool.
And that's been nice as we have.
Well, okay, so the issue is with going above 100 people is they would basically have to add another like layer of management to kind of keep scaling the production studio up. So I think that's kind of the main thing that they're grappling with.
Kind of get more well known.
It is again. My white whale.
There are more people that want to work with us, and we.
How long have we been doing the VTube thing? Hang on. What was 2 weeks ago from today? The 10th? We have the VTube thing set up by then? Well, no, I want to say private sessions was the first one, so Saturday will be 2 weeks. But anyways, the reason I ask is, how are there still fucking people who are surprised?
We can pick the best people, so we can, and we already had a big enough team, so we didn't need to fill seats. We can afford to be very, very selective.
Right.
And the team has been really cranking. I think.
Is there no way to import models from a Bethesda game into your VTube software? Short answer, no. Long answer, not really. The issue with the 3D models with Bethesda games is that they're in like this weird fucking format. It's really difficult. Like you can get the models out. Getting the models with the texture data is a lot more difficult, and there's like a serious workflow that's involved with it because it's not like a typical game where you just like, so like say you're doing a Mass Effect game. You would just get the model and it would come with all the clothing and gear and what have you. With the Bethesda games, they have the character model and then they have like the armor layered on top as separate models. So then you have to take them out and take all the models out and then like compile them all together. And this is seriously like lengthy, unnecessary workflow. So the answer is no. The whole thing is this gimmick costs $25 and that's it. It's a cheap gimmick. And it doesn't take a lot of effort. And that's the important thing. I would rather be putting my effort towards like the time I spend playing Skyrim or the time I spend doing the live streams than, figuring out some dumb fucking visual gag.
Right.
And the team has been really cranking. I think.
The team has been cranking. I mean, really cranking. Okay. Hang on, what is crank a metaphor for? I don't do drugs. No, I don't need a national helpline. I want to know what crank is. Is it meth? Okay, it's meth. Got it. Thank you. I think he's just proud of that his team is working like a well-oiled machine, but he says he called it cranking. So it's just weird. Like that immediately like stands out to me that that's like a euphemism for something. And especially in like the games industry, you don't want to say a euphemism for meth because I'm pretty sure there's some games I've played on this channel that were made by people who were doing some kind of upper just to stay awake.
We're really in our groove on this game, and I hope all the fans really like it.
And we should mention actually that the Game Informer piece is coming out soon, which will, obviously have more details.
Yeah.
Which is to say, we don't have a lot of detail with this one.
Yeah, they
like this actually wasn't even So with how the podcasts are named, there's the Skyrim podcast episodes, but then this one was like this one was the Bethesda Podcast episode 6. So it's like they didn't even consider this a Skyrim episode.
They visited the office last week, so I think you guys are going to start seeing information from Game Informer in early mid-January.
Yeah.
Yep.
They saw a lot, and I think, I hope everybody is surprised with how much stuff we're showing. It's a lot. We wanted to sort of compress the amount of time that we talked about the game. It's still 11 months. It's a long time, but traditionally we're going on like 2 years talking about a game. So we start out very slow, and we wanted to come out of the gate with a lot of stuff. So I think the fans will
Yeah,
be
well, that's a really
excited.
short window, 11 months. That's crazy.
It's
Somebody was
still-
actually speculating that 11. There's some specific
11,
code.
11, 11.
Like, yeah, somebody was really getting like very Da Vinci Code about the number 11.
I'm sure all of this adds up to some wacky thing in binary.
Adds up to 33.
Right.
Well, we've been following the. We'll give a.
No, like I said, I read the metaphor as like the team is working really well, not the team is working 80 hours a week. Because I've seen no evidence that they were.
Shout out to the forums, the TES 5 speculation thread, which I think was up to volume 88 or something like that before.
I did. I read a lot
Actually, it was
of that stuff.
111. So.
Todd Howard read the speculation. Okay, this sounds like a lie, but I'm gonna mark it down anyways because it's a really funny kind of thing to say that like Todd Howard was reading speculation threads on Skyrim 11 months ahead of release. The interview guy sounds really nervous. So I watched the if anybody's seen it, the Goop video from JonTron, both of them, the one with the Netflix one, and that show is like, if you don't know the context, it's like a weird health company that Gwyneth Paltrow runs, and the show is like about the sort of executive staff for that company. And literally every member of Gwyneth Paltrow's like executive staff for that company, like you can tell that there's like a shotgun pointed to them off camera. Like that's genuinely that's generally kind of the vibe I get. And that's sort of the same vibe here is like, that's why this sort of like company podcast thing doesn't work, because again, these guys are his employees. So they're not going to ask him any good questions. They're going to be really awkward about everything, because it's like, if they fuck up in any way, that's their boss.
Yeah, right. And, it's
I believe the expression I've heard is like a shotgun pointed at their cock.
funny because everybody looks and says, like, oh, they did it like this, they did it like this. And by the end, people were guessing the VGAs and thinking that.
Well, they always guess, like, what's
The
next?
next thing.
It must be Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Why? Well, that's the next
And
event.
we love the Elder Scrolls.
So it must be.
Yeah, that's why you don't really talk about like internet speculation, because like if you look long enough, you will find like speculation that accurately predicts literally everything that happens, and that's not because like people are like Nostradamus. It's just like the power of guessing.
Veterans Day. They're
Yeah.
going to announce it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll have something for him on Flag Day this year too. So it'll be pretty exciting. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff coming soon. We just wanted to get you on the show so we could talk to
I
you for a
appreciate
little
it.
bit. And
I listen to all the podcasts. I think they're great. I think you should have John Carmack on every time just to talk. I love listening to him.
Nick and
For context, they had there was a very narrow window, and they managed to pull it off, where John Carmack was under Bethesda, and they managed to get him on the podcast before he actually left.
I were talking, it would be great if we just got him to like answer a question, but we say, but you only have 10 seconds to answer it.
Yeah.
Because, with
No,
John,
that's
it
no
would,
fun.
it would be difficult, yes. But, yeah.
We'll definitely.
I'm not
attempt
sure
it.
you told my favorite Carmack anecdote.
We tried to introduce it, but we had a whole.
Oh, I
other
have
thing
many of
going
them,
on.
though.
Since you're here.
Probably my favorite John Carmack line, I asked him, so is it difficult, doing this rocket stuff, being a rocket scientist? He said, compared to games, it's easy. I'm going too far to the right, thrust left. It's pretty easy AI. The main difference is, when the game crashes, I press the reset button. When the rocket crashes, big mess, spread out over miles.
Oh, man.
And I found that very humorous.
Yeah. He's amazing. So cool. Well,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate
And
you
I
coming
look
on.
forward to being on again over the next year, I'm
there so
sure,
much.
quite a bit.
Yeah, get you and
it must
guys
be
from the
music
team
or
on.
something.
Yeah,
It'll be great.
absolutely.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Absolutely. Thanks to all the fans out there.
Wow.
Really, that's the support we get from the
What
fans.
a waste
and
of time.
keeping Elder Scrolls alive during those periods where we're not, releasing anything or showing stuff
Well, you can tell when Todd pulled the hammer back on the shotgun.
between Daggerfall to Morrowind, then Morrowind and Oblivion to now. We really, really appreciate it. It keeps everybody.
I like the thing of Todd listing out all the games.
Motivated.
Right on.
Thanks.
Todd.
All right. Thanks, Todd.
I was like, are they playing the Morrowind theme? Weird one, but sure. Okay, so the next podcast, I have to pull up the list. Oh God, episode 7, Pete Hines Ketchup, February 22nd, 2011. If you guys don't know, Pete Hines is, how do I put this in as kind of way as possible that doesn't shut the door on me ever getting any kind of interview at Bethesda. Pete Hines is the junkyard dog of Bethesda. He's sort of he's the guy, he's like the boss you have to defeat to actually get like a meaningful kind of conversation. Hang on. Okay, so this is gonna be a bit fucky. Select the text. Okay, 2400. That's fine. And I'm gonna have 1250, and then I want this as well. 2400. Wrong. Hang on. There. Why are we doing that? All right, so make sure I switch it over to. Ooh.
Hey, I'm Matt Grandstaff,
Hey, I'm Nick Brecken.
and
Oh, I don't care.
this is your Bethesda Podcast.
Happy New Year.
All right, cool. Just gonna. How long was that? 24 seconds? Yeah.
Happy New Year, and welcome to the latest.
Those two dudes literally sounded identical. Yeah, that's kind of like the podcast combination from hell is when both hosts sound identical. Like, so part of the secret for why the private session stream went so well is because he's from the East Coast and I'm from the West Coast, so we sound nothing alike. These guys both sound like they grew up in Maryland. Why is Pete Hines known as the junkyard dog? I do get the reference. Well, it's not necessarily, I'm not making like a movie reference or anything. I'm literally referring to the concept of a junkyard dog, which is basically, when you ask for any kind of journalistic interview with Bethesda, you're typically going to get Pete Hines, and Pete Hines is going to stonewall the fuck out of you and not answer any of your questions because that's his job. And then like, if you can defeat the junkyard dog, then you can actually try and get something useful. How do I manage to be more autistic than EFAP? By being detail oriented.
Happy New Year, and welcome to the latest Bethesda podcast, the first of 2011.
Well, typically PR people are like charismatic and like will answer questions and not just like deflect everything.
Yeah, and
What the
so we got a lot of
fuck
stuff
was
going on
that?
this year.
It is a busy year for us. Recently, we announced all
Oh
the
yeah, I actually have to change. I have to increment the date. Hang on.
release dates for our games. We've got Brink coming in
This is a test.
May 17th.
Fucking Brink. We got 2 new girls going on.
We've
Well
got
done. And
Hunted on June 1st. Rage is coming out on September 13th, and
Oh god, Rage. The only thing I want to hear less than Brink.
we've got, of course, Skyrim coming out on 11/11/11.
see, that's the easy one.
Yep.
We know that one really well.
And we've got some pretty great stuff coming out for all the games. If you've been on the internets lately, you might have seen that there are going to be PAX panels for Rage. We'll have dates and times for that shortly,
It's not a lazy eye. I'm reading the chat, dumbass.
as well as information on everything else showing at PAX East.
Penny Arcade East, yes, in Boston,
Yep.
coming up
More than a feeling.
March. What is it? What does the show start? So like March 10th or 11th.
You've got
Oh man, here we go again. No, but you guys should come down. It's gonna be good times. We're gonna have a lot of stuff going on.
and we'll get you those dates, promise.
Actually, it is March 11th. But moving on.
Right now, the guys from In Exile and Splash Damage are on the road showing off Hunted and Brink.
That's right.
So
Hunted? The fuck is a hunted? Hunted, the Demon's Fort. Oh god. It's that game. That's Bethesda? Nice. Oh man. I have to find a trailer for this. We would just want to watch Bethesda game trailers. Don't you autoplay. There you go. All right, YouTube. Nope. This is Hunted.
For years it waited. Hidden in the forgotten temple of Kalamor, until one day it was found.
Oh my god.
Two mercenaries, they
In Exile. Why does that sound familiar?
are interfering. Hunt them down and end them.
Oh my god. A dungeon crawl for the gear. You want to talk about the Eurogamer movement? Let's talk about the Kotaku moment. This music is genuinely terrible. Oh, but they got kill cams for their archery animations. Interesting.
Is that what I think it was?
If you're thinking giant eye, then yes.
Do you think it's...
That looks so bad.
A giant eye.
That was so bad. Holy shit. Oh my god, I am so fucking glad we did that. Fucking hunted. Yeah, that's what we're working on. We're making Brink. We're making games that we're proud of. Brink, Rage, and Hunted.
Oh man, here we go again. No, but you guys should come down. It's gonna be good times. We're gonna have a lot of stuff going on.
And we'll get you those dates, promise.
Actually, it is March 11th. But moving on.
Right now,
Nope, hang on. My white whale has appeared again.
the guys from In Exile and Splash Damage are on the road showing off Hunted and Brink.
That's right.
So we'll have more information on that soon.
The less information you have on Hunted, the better. You might not want to associate Skyrim with that.
Apparently, they're running out of celebrities a lot. You see,
Really?
Richard Hamm was like behind Keanu Reeves at
Whoa.
the airport. Well said.
So that'll be
Excuse me?
interesting. New Vegas, of course, we announced that DLC is coming to PlayStation 3
Right.
and Steam. That'll be on February 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we've got 3 more DLCs coming this year. We'll have more on that soon.
But on this episode of the Bethesda Podcast, we are actually talking to Pete Hines.
Congratulations. I'm going to cut this. Because this was basically worthless. So that's 1:14, and that is 40 seconds. So that's literally 2.5 minutes. But, plus the 24 seconds at the start. That we weren't talking to Pete Hines. So, good job. That's why we edit this shit. Because I could have just thrown this all into the editor and had like 50 minutes of wasted time. But
We are actually talking to Pete Hines, our boss. And it's kind of a wide range.
oh man, just straight up, just flat out. Yeah, he's got a shotgun pointed right in my cock. He's about to blow my balls off if I don't, blow his balls.
Ranging interview. We sort of think of it as a preamble to the entire year. We're gonna go over all kinds of stuff, and then we also threw him some of your questions.
Was there a game that got more hyped than Crashed and Burned more than Brink? Watch Dogs?
A little bit of a community Q&A, so hope you enjoy.
Who would want to do a community Q&A with fucking Pete Hines? Come on.
We're interviewing.
Stop using Morrowind music.
He's our boss.
It upsets me.
Today we have a special guest. He's our boss, Pete Hines.
Literally, still haven't started. Fucking... Okay, 3 minutes. 3 minutes of this fucking podcast. And we're introducing Pete Hines again.
Today we have a special guest.
Watch Dogs got a sequel, though. Brink got a sequel. It just wasn't called Brink 2.
He's our boss, Pete Hines.
Yes, we're interviewing our boss.
Again,
Pete, how's it going?
we're interviewing our boss.
Good, boys. How are you?
Good.
Good boys. Okay, I'm gonna fucking... God damn it. Good boys. Peter Hines, VP of Marketing, Bethesda Game Studios.
Doing pretty good. So you've been here, 11 years now?
A little over 11 years.
So at that point, you were pretty much the only one in the marketing department?
Yeah, when I started, it was me, and I had a marketing artist. And it was probably a 2 and then eventually a 3-person office for, I don't know, probably 5-6 years.
What do you mean who would want to see a community QA with Pete Hines? From what I've seen his social media posts, that shit's going to be hilarious. I mean, if it's like legitimately, if this is like 30 minutes of like Pete Hines telling us to fuck off, that would be great. Like someone asks, is there going to be werewolves in Skyrim? And Pete Hines is like, no, loser. Cuck. Next question. What's the there's a Pete Hines interview that I always think of. This better be the actual interview and not just, oh my god, it's some nerd talking about the interview. God damn it. Oh, I'm probably never going to be able to find this interview. God, I hate fucking YouTube. I specifically hate like the news part of YouTube, especially like, oh yeah, nerd culture news.
Years, and then slowly started adding a person at a time here or there. But yeah, a lot of heavy lift.
They don't let you say cuck in YouTube chat? Oh, that's bullshit. This isn't Twitch. I think that's a big part of the reason I'm not on Twitch is they don't let you say simp. Because they don't want you insulting the audience.
Thing of those early years.
Yeah, it's always interesting when I hear you talk about some of the stories. I think it was with Morrowind. You wrote basically the whole strategy guide, or
well, the Morrowind strategy guide was written by Peter Olofsson, but myself and Mike Wagner, who's still with us and was my marketing artist at the time, he and I did all of the editing, all of the layout. We begged, borrowed, and stole screenshots from team members. I had to do a lot of writing, fill-in stuff, but it was just the...
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't trust Pete Hines' advice for playing fucking Morrowind.
The two of us working on that. I actually had my dog in the office for a month because I couldn't spare the time to go home and let him out, so it was just easier to bring him in and keep him with me. But we'd be here probably until about 2 or 3 in the morning, wrap up page proofs for whatever chapters we had been working on. I'd put them on a disc. I'd drive down and meet the guy from the printer halfway to Richmond, hand off the disc, pick up the page proofs from the previous day, drive back into work. And so, I was working 20 hours a day and sleeping 4, and it was quite a chore, but it was a really good guide. I'm very, very proud of that guide to this day.
Morrowind strategy guide. $94 for paperback. Nice. Oh. Archive. Oh my god, really? Holy shit. Hang on. I want to share one part of this with you. I cannot believe that they actually did this. And someone actually went to the effort of making this. I need to save this link just because it's funny. Okay, hang on. Copy the link. Alright, now you're going to love the... If you know Morrowind, you're going to love what I'm about to show you. Now, you might be thinking, oh, this looks like a 5th edition character sheet or some shit, right? Like, this is out of a D&D book. No. This is from the Morrowind strategy guide. It is instructions on what answers to give to get what classes from the questionnaire. I shit you not. Someone went to the effort of cataloging what answers you give the guy who asks you the questionnaire to get to get what class. And they put that. Pete Hines worked 20 hours on the answers you're supposed to give. Well, he didn't work on this. It was the other Peter, but like, oh my god, this might be worth a read at some point. Because I was actually gonna work on for the 20th anniversary, whenever that is. I was gonna do a let me just pop YouTube up actually. So I was actually gonna do a how to make good characters in Morrowind guide. And this might be something that I read before I do that, because I'm really interested in what at the time they thought was like good character creation. Oh no, side by side. Did they have the weapons listed? Oh my god, why? This is such a weird, like, this would be so, this is formatted to hell. Like, okay, so the first thing is chapter 1, gameplay, and then it's like, here's all the attributes of the races, like how red guards have only 30 intellect. And then, like, okay, here's page 2, here's all the skill bonuses, here's the next page. Here's the character generation question and answer, and it's like, you know you can just pick these classes, right? And then, like, the next thing is all the weapons. Like, who organized this? Why wouldn't the next thing should be birth signs? But it's like, okay, so we got a chart on all the weapons and armor that's in the game, and now here's what the fuck? Here's all the alchemy ingredients, and now here's a picture of an orc. Oh my god, what the fuck? What did I miss the birth signs? No, it was just decided that we're going to go through character creation, so we're not going to bother to tell you about the birth signs. We're just going to tell you about all the weapons and armor in the game. Oh my god. This is actually like a gold mine. 400 pages? 400 fucking pages of this? Dude, this could be I shit you not, this could be a stream on its own. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay, I gotta keep that in the back pocket. No, hang on. I can't resist the urge. What's a good quest we could look at? I want to see his take on a quest, but I don't know what would be the best. Here, we'll just pick like random page. So it's like 136 or something. Can I input? Oh, hang on. Slide to the right. Okay, this is even better. Okay, page 138. Theranos quest. Ariel's bow. Oh, hang on. Zoom in here. Oh, hang on. Okay. If Thorana was merely eccentric when you met her in Felisa Uthlison's quest Thorana's Clothes, she is now out of her frickin' mind. Once you've reached rank 4, talk to Thorana about chores, Ariel's bow, and Ashiam's. Thorana wants an ebony bow that smells faintly of... Is it an ebony bow? She wants an ebony bow that smells faintly of Ashiam's. She doesn't explicitly send you anywhere to find it, but she says the smell of Ashiam's is strongest in Ghostgate near the person of Raylan Othravel. Humor her and visit Ghostgate. Well, what do you know? There is a method of sorts to Thorana's madness. Oh my god. This is 400 pages of this? This isn't a... It would only be funnier if it was actually like, yeah, she's out of her fucking mind. Wow. 400 pages of like shitty commentary on all the quests. Where was that when I was working on the Morrowind video? I literally just could have copied that. There we go.
You actually back then got a lot of calls when Morrowind was launched.
Yeah, well, you know, because we were doing a lot of, again, it was a small shop, so I was doing a lot of customer service stuff alone, or people would have problems and they end up they end up calling into me, and I have to help them fix their construction set problems or whatever it
With
was.
the dog barking in the background.
Yeah, for real. So it was it was interesting. That was ZeniMax had bought Bethesda in '99, but we were still moving out of kind of the mom and pop shop. When I first moved here, we still had the assembly lines downstairs where developers used to go and shrink wrap boxes and stuff. And so ZeniMax kind of forced Bethesda to move out of the mom and pop and into acting more like a real publisher and letting other people do a lot of that stuff. So
Yep, Bethesda did not exist before 2000. It's a fact. Daggerfall? What's that? It's gay. You don't want to play it. It's free. How good could it be? It's free.
we were still transitioning some of that from in-house and pushing it out of house. And obviously today, look where we are today. We got resources abound. So
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember in college watching the Oblivion making of and seeing.
Lamau, call Pete Hines to have him troubleshoot your copy of the construction set. Hey, Pete. I have a question for you. So I spent 2 hours trying to do this thing where it's I make dialogue for my YouTube video. And it turns out that the version of the construction set that's most recent can't generate the lip files. So it's I gotta download, I have to download this old copy of the construction set that can generate the lip files so that my custom dialogue actually has moving lips for the dialogue. And then I have to go back to the modern version if I want to change the actual dialogue. And it's how do I fix, why did Shivering Isles break a really basic feature of the construction set? So the way I got around that problem is, if you don't know, at the start of the Oblivion video, hang on, I'll show you. At the start of the Oblivion video, I think I'm probably on top of the list. No, I'm not. There's some guy named Oblivion on YouTube who's got me beat. There's this part where I'm talking, so this is actually just random fucking rumors that this guy is saying that's loosely synced up to my lips, and somehow this actually convinced people that I was some kind of complicated VTuber, but nope, it's just loosely synced audio.
resources abound. So
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember in college watching the Oblivion making of and seeing you guys in the basement and just being wow, that looks so cool. But now it's the whole building and 1 million people, and it must be crazy to have seen that whole
They had a real studio in Oblivion. What the fuck are you talking about? You're acting like it's 2001 Bungie or something.
transition.
yeah, it was, and it's funny that everybody always comments on how the basement seems so cool and what a cool place it looks like to work. But it's funny that I think Todd Howard's and his team, from the minute they moved down there, were fighting constantly to get out of the basement somewhere up. They wanted to be in the light, and now they are up here. But yeah, going from a very small space. I mean, we were one corner of
Very small team of 40 people.
one floor of the office, to moving to
Oblivion, we were basically an indie team, indie team of 70 developers.
to the downstairs. That was a big step in building out that whole basement, and now it's basically the whole building. It's pretty amazing to walk around and see all these people I don't know and be like, oh, I guess they work here. I don't know.
That says a lot about you, buddy. Oh, what happened to the notepad? The notepad broke. Or it's hang on, I gotta reopen it. That was weird. You see all these notes I have to scroll through because it starts at the top and I gotta scroll. Oh my god. It's been 4 minutes. Hines walks around Bethesda not recognizing his not his employees, but kind of just his subordinates. Indie studio Bethesda. You know, we're like a AA studio. We only had a budget of like, I don't know, $80 million on Oblivion or something like that. It's a small team, you know. Real indie core, you know. Bethesda was just grinding out game jams. That's actually what Daggerfall was like. Todd Howard was doing like an indie game jam. And he made that in a week.
I guess they work here. I don't know. Go to the cafeteria and not know half the people there.
Right.
But you know, I think we still have kept that you know, that familial feel that, you know, most of the people
That familial feel of walking around the office and not recognizing any of your employees.
that I consider good friends are people who work here at Bethesda. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. And I mean, how has your job changed in that whole transition, like in terms of Pete Hines, the marketing man?
Yeah. I mean, it's changed in
I've only had to stonewall like 6 interviewers this week. It's been a good run so far.
good ways and bad ways. I mean, you know, what I love is all the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
I love doing all the strategy guide stuff, and I like taking a game from concept to completion and writing fact sheets and press releases and figuring out exactly what we're going to release and when and how we're going to do things. And
Well, I'm glad you're passionate about your job. It's a lot better than being a game reviewer. I shit you not. He worked for the same game review company, I think, that Emil Pagliarulo did. Like, talk about a step up. This is the game dev equivalent of the self-made millionaire that inherited a fortune. Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know. Pete Hines went through the shit with Morrowinds just like everybody else who worked on that game, but yeah, he kind of like, you know, he wasn't like Todd Howard that was there for Daggerfall or anything like that.
you know, I guess I still try and do that. I just
That familial feel of the shotgun barrel nuzzled up against your cock.
have to do it on an awful lot more games at an awful lot of different stages, and so I can't be the one to create it. I have to work with a lot of other people now who are in the weeds. You know, time was that I was on the forums every day, all the time, doing that myself. And
It used to be that I had to go on all the forums to shill my games. Now it's like we got this Amazon service, so it's like we can just outsource it to where we just pay people like 2 cents a post to shill our games for us. It's a real step up in this industry.
you know, that's something that I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed replying to every email the company ever got, but it's just not something that I can possibly do. And so,
Wow, it's so sympathetic. I feel the same, bro. That's why I don't read my comments. I actually do read my comments. Still. I shouldn't, but I do. No amusing comments right now. Sorry.
that's why I have you guys. That's
Yeah.
why I have
Yeah.
brand managers and PR people.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
He's kind of like jerking the shotgun up and down right now. Kind of like, yeah, you guys better fucking, you better laugh at this one, or you might end up having to edit out a gunshot later.
Yes, exactly.
And we're at what, like 18 people just in this office?
I don't
or
even
something
know.
like
Yeah.
that?
18 marketing people? Oh my god. You want some game developers with your marketing department? Like, Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, 18 marketing people for all that stuff you didn't say during the marketing. Like, what the fuck? Why do you need 18 people in that department?
That's why I have you guys. That's
Yeah.
why I have.
Yeah.
Or is that the number of people who have been in the marketing department and, like, 16 of them are, like, in a shallow grave behind the building?
Brand managers and PR people.
Thank God for that.
Yes,
And
exactly.
we're at what, like 18 people just in this office?
I don't
or
even
something
know.
like
Yeah,
that?
something like that. And then you add in, Europe, France, Germany, Benelux, Japan. I mean, we have marketing and PR folks all over the continents now. But
Most people aren't proud of that. You guys realize that like marketing people are generally pariahs of every industry.
It's been a trade-off for me to.
Well, it's like we've read the market, like we literally in the span of like 2 days, so like 10 hours of this pace, read the entire marketing from announcement to game release that Bethesda did. How the fuck did 19 people, well 18 people or whatever, work on the little amount of marketing that we've actually dealt with? 16 times the marketing.
Have to spend a lot more time doing strategic things. But
Strategic things, somebody's got to play Call of Duty. Somebody has to get this 25 kill streak. I'm trying to get a nuke.
but still wanting to, know what's going on in the forums or, interact with folks. I do like,
A marketing strategy so clandestine, most people didn't know it existed.
hearing from folks on
Like, literally, I would have, if you had said that Pete Hines was literally the only person who was doing the marketing for Skyrim, I would have fucking believed you.
Twitter and replying to them, or just sort of, getting to do some of that one-on-one interaction that I don't get to do as much. And it's, it's somewhat by choice, but mostly by necessity. So
Yeah, it's kind of funny when we're in the forums and we'll see, well, at DC Deacon said this or said that. So, yeah, I see you get a lot of questions over Twitter.
I don't answer nearly as many as I get, but I do try, to do the best I can to help.
2011 Twitter? Ooh. Gross.
Mostly I try and help clarify. I don't want to be the source for new information. I think we have, planned ways of getting out information. If we want it.
Sure. You don't want to be the source of new information. Why would we want to find stuff out? Why would we want to know things about this game? No. I'm the guy who has all the meetings with the lawyers to determine what mechanics we're going to be allowing the developers to talk about in the next fan interview.
To get everything out there, we would just go ahead and do it. But I do like trying to help clarify and point folks in the right direction.
That's one of the hard things about this.
Point folks in the right directions, There's only one direction. It's called go fuck yourself.
This job, I find, is that everything, but we can't talk about everything all at once. I mean, it's
And we can't talk about anything.
Well, it's not only that, Nick, but the other tricky thing is we could tell you everything as it stands today.
Right, but it's going to change.
Right,
yeah.
but that system and the
Pete Shotgun Messiah Hines.
way that works just changed from last week to this week. So if we have to go back and keep telling people,
Oh, absolutely what I love. The standard operating procedure changes on a week-by-week basis. That's definitely a healthy strategy when you have a marketing department of 18 people. Just keep switching the strategy up over and over. I'm sure that was a really healthy work environment to have to deal with. Oh, did you read the memo? Oh yeah, we got the new operating strategy for our marketing department. Yeah, we're still not saying anything about the game. That hasn't changed, but now we're putting smiley faces at the end of every one of our community responses.
people, when they're not able to play the game, to see the game, to have played it this way and realize, oh yeah, I know why you changed it, because it sucked that way. So, all they're doing.
I know why you changed it, because it sucked that way. The fuck? Thanks, Pete.
Doing is, reacting to the information without any actual experience, and they tend to react badly to that kind of stuff. I think
Don't let them play the game. Just let them, get information, teased out to them.
a classic example is we did the Oblivion demo at E3, and we had full shadows in there, and then we ended up not being able to do that in the game. Well,
On, one version, but that meant that, since all versions have to be equal, you know, they all have to have the same parity of features. It's just like, you know, Full Shadows wasn't possible on the Xbox, so I guess it's not possible on PC either. You know, that's how these things work.
The reason it wasn't in the game wasn't because we just decided to be mean and take out shadows. It was the game engine just didn't allow for an acceptable level of performance. Right. Once you got everything in there, well, then it became, well, you guys were lying. And no, we actually really wanted shadows in the game. And a lot of people spent a lot of hours trying to make it work. And we had to make the hard decision. Look, we know it looks great, but the game doesn't run well. And people are going to care more about how well it runs. So we need to take it out. And that happens with 1,000 things on the course of development. So it's, to your point, it's just kind of tough to not only not be able to.
We got our asses blasted for lying about some stuff on Oblivion, so we decided this time to just not say anything.
To talk about things where you could clearly answer it, but also like, yeah, I'd love to answer that, but I happen to know that
this is basically like a total validation of what I've been saying was their change in marketing strategy. You know, like with Oblivion, you know, there was stuff that Todd said that could be proven wrong, but after that point, like, pretty much everything that Todd Howard says in the marketing stuff is stuff that's like, it's all technically true.
That thing right now is being debated on how it might change or be different, and so I'm going to tell you X and it's going to be Y, and you're going to get very upset. So sometimes it's better to just not divulge and wait until you can definitely say this is absolutely how it's going to work.
Why is the executive producer the charismatic one, and why is the marketing one like the nerdy kind of like stumbling over himself speech?
So that applies to every question that you're asking about our games right now.
Yeah, basically.
Cool. So
I feel like your interview is an extension of trying to mine out every bit of information about these games as independent consumers will generally make devs more hesitant to lie around during interviews. Well, so I've been thinking about that. There was that the mod jam that Bethesda did where they showed a bunch of stuff that they could make in a week. They will never do anything like that ever again. Because can you imagine the optics of saying, yeah, we implemented spears in a week? Or, you know, whatever feature you wanted. We implemented elemental arrow types in a week. Yeah, we did that. And then it's like, wait, so you're telling me that you gave your developers 1 week and they implemented features that, you know, were apparently just not possible. So, like, that's a really bad thing. Like, I'm going to be mentioning that quite a bit. But, like, the thing is, like, yeah, they're never going to do anything like that again. Because it's like an admission of, like, all the stuff that they could do, but that they don't. Because of their design philosophy.
So over these years, is there any particular moments, whether it's working with the developers or just moments you've...
Not interested in talking about realism in a game with ghouls and green mutants. I mean, well, that's stupid. Like, oh, there's fantastical elements, so none of this can be realistic. And it's like, you know, Harry Potter ruined a generation of fantasy, in my opinion. With it's like it's no rules magic bullshit that it does. Or it's like fake rules magic bullshit where it's like, oh yeah, magic is meant to be fantastical. You can do literally anything. And it's like, well, no, I'm not really interested in you can do anything story, because then magic's just a cop-out that the writers can use. Just because there's fantastical elements doesn't mean that you shouldn't consider realism.
Had at E3 that kind of stand out as some of your favorites?
It's not even realism at this point, it's just basic internal consistency. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying is realism of the characters. Just because it's a giant green mutant man doesn't mean that he's not going to be internally consistent with like his own actions. What the fuck was that noise?
You know, I think one of the funny things for me is just seeing how E3 has changed for us. You know, again, it used to be when we go to E3, I had no staff. There was no other marketing or PR people to help me. So I was, you know, there were devs out there or other folks out there from sales or whatever. But like, you know, the show would be over and the booth would close and it was just me, like
packing
in there,
up.
like literally packing everything up, stacking up all the chairs, breaking down all the computers, and it was just insane. I mean, I remember, just killing myself for 3 days straight, and then the feeling of like everybody else is all right, we're off to go have, drinks, and I'm like,
I didn't have the confidence to ask any of my coworkers to help me clean up after the conference. Poor Pete. He didn't get to go to the bar. He's so wagey and his cagey with ragey. He had to do his job. Sad face. Well, yeah, it's like you went to the conference with a bunch of people, literally just asked them, hey, help me fucking pack.
Drinks, and I'm like, crap, I'm gonna be here forever.
Yeah.
To go from that to what we have now.
And then he's got his like orbiters that are like, yes, boss. Yes, boss. Absolutely. You're right. You had it so bad before we showed up.
Which is, a small city. In
dinosaur.
West Hall with a
And a
dinosaur
tower,
or towers or all the cool
Actual
stuff that we
city.
have planned for this year.
If I had to shill for Bethesda, I'd also feel compelled to get blackout drunk. I mean, not if you had to shill for Bethesda, but if you had to run the Twitter account for every game launch, like if that was your job, yeah.
With Rage and Skyrim and some of the other stuff we'll be showing there. So it's pretty interesting to go from literally one end of the spectrum to the other in terms of what a massive operation that has now become and how many people pitch in and help out. Although I am proud to say I was still the very last person to leave the booth last year, making sure that everything got broken down and packed up and helping IT guys wrap cords and stuff. So
I think Pete Hines should have served in the military. Because that sounds like a military thing is like, pick up brass. Tell us we're good boys, boss. Can you stop pointing the shotgun at my cock, boss?
So I still do try and pitch in and do my fair share. But yeah, it's, there's, in the course of 11 years, it's sort of mind-boggling.
Come, watch the stream where I guarantee I will never have an interview at Bethesda. Yeah, the stream was like, the stream was like literally hours of him shit-talking Pete Hines. This is the other girl. The other new girl. This is the Bosmer girl.
To think about all the stuff that you've gone through, but what I enjoy most is the people that I get to work with, you guys, devs. I think that's been a big part of what we've done well at Bethesda. That to have people here that we really like.
I like that. Okay, so the Todd Howard interview was 13 minutes, and then like the Pete Hines interview was 24 minutes, but like 4 of those minutes were like just establishing who the interviewee was. What the fuck are you guys talking about? This is a new character. This is not the Bosmer male. This is not the femboy. This is a Bosmer woman.
Working with who also happen to be really good at what they do.
All right, well, before you go, we went on the Twitter, and we've got some questions for you. Mr. Hines, are you ready?
Fire away.
All right, Nick, you've got the first question.
Oh, okay. Pete, do you have any hints? This is from Red Chameleax.
Please don't read their names. Just don't bother.
On Twitter. Do you have any hints about Arcane's new project? Is it Dark Messiah related, Arx Fatalis related, or a new game?
Oh my god. Well, fuck the guy who was like, yeah, like Dishonored came out before Skyrim. We all knew that wasn't true, but like, still, fuck that guy. Wait, the other Bosmer was a dude? Yeah. I established that at the time. He was the first, well, the second, but he was like the first boy post Dunmer Girl.
Well, I would say it's probably related to everything that they've done that,
Okay, so here we go. Pete Hines gets answered a question that like hasn't been established that they're able to answer yet. And so this is the typical like Pete Hines response.
Is it Dark Messiah related, Arx Fatalis related, or a new game?
Well, I would say it's probably related to everything that they've done that, that any game developer is going to take influences from what they've done. So certainly, Arx Fatalis for Raph, Deus Ex for Harvey, Half-Life 2 for Victor Antonov. All of those games are having some level of influence on the game that they're making, but beyond that, no hints as far as IP. But it's the kind of game I think you would expect from a team like that and what they do best, and we'll have to wait and see what that is.
That makes it sound pretty.
So yeah, I'm gonna be brutally honest. If Bethesda approached me and said, "We'll give you an interview," and I was like, "Okay, who am I interviewing?" and they said P. Hines, I would just say, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm no longer interested in doing this interview." I shit you not. I would not bother. Like, it would be even worse if, like, okay, so they said that I get to interview Todd Howard, and then, like, I fly out to Maryland to do the interview. And I get to the Bethesda studios, and it's like, sorry, Todd Howard's not available. You're going to have to talk to Pete Hines. And it's like, even then, I've flown out to Bethesda. I've literally flown out to Maryland to do this interview. And they tell me I'm going to have to talk to Pete Hines. I would leave. And I would go to, like, a bar. And I would, like, have a vacation in Maryland. And it would fucking suck because I'm stuck in some shitty state. But it would still be better than having a fucking conversation with a bunch of non-answers.
That makes it sound pretty awesome.
That makes it sound pretty awesome. He didn't fucking say anything. He said, it could be a new game, or it could be something based on what these other developers have worked on. Who knows? What if they gave you Todd Howard interview after Pete's interview? Then I would, like, persevere. If it was clarified with, like, you got to talk to Pete Hines for 10 minutes, I can probably get 10 minutes of something out of him. But if it was like, yeah, sorry, that hour-long interview with Todd Howard that we scheduled, you're going to have to talk to Pete Hines for an hour, I would leave. Or, like, I would go to the bathroom and I would start taking screenshots of, like, random monitors of Bethesda. And then, like, get ejected from the building. Yeah, that's,
Okay, well, one of the caveats I had when I tweeted was a lot of people were asking Skyrim-specific stuff, so I said,
Of course.
Can't get into that too much, but one of the questions I thought I'd give a try.
Okay.
What do you, Pete, think are the biggest and best changes to Skyrim?
Ooh, wow, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one. Let me think about a way to not answer that question.
Well, I'll caveat it by saying I don't know because, and this sort of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is that I don't know what changes are final changes. In other words, there's the version of the game that...
Yeah, there's always the chance that we could go back to hit chance combat. Yeah, that's true. What you described actually happened at Valve. No, I know, corporate espionage is his thing. But I figure, fuck it. Best shot.
that exists today, and then there's the version of the game that exists next week, which could be fairly different. There's a...
Yeah, it's no, first week of February, we had Hit Chance Combat and Cliff Racers everywhere. Second week of February, it was a lot more like Daggerfall. And then third week of February, we were back to Oblivion, Yeah, this week, the latest build's got guns in it. It's like fucking it changes so often. Who's better at illusion magic, Todd or Pete? Oh, Todd, 100%.
A lot of stuff still in flux. There's a reason why the game isn't out yet. I think the...
There's a lot of reasons the game isn't out. Reason number one, quality assurance. Reason number two, meme release dates.
Number one for me is moving skills out of the major and minor and just having there be skills and having what you do affect leveling up so that you can...
Hang on, hit me with that again.
Number one for me is moving skills out of the major and minor and just having there be skills and having what you do affect leveling up so that you can switch midstream on what kind of things that you focus on
I'm glad you're so optimistic and you think that's actually possible.
without impacting your ability to level up. Or, I remember when Oblivion came out, and this is true even for Morrowind, but people would figure out, well, I'm going to pick, my major skills to be the skills that are the lowest for my character because that'll give me more level ups that I can do, stuff like that.
What a horrifying concept. Somebody's going to level up 2 more times than they would otherwise. We got a question from a Twitter user here. Pete, are you currently pointing a shotgun at your subordinate's cocks? How would you like to answer that one, Mr. Hines?
I like the fact that it's moved away from that and moved to this look. Just whatever you like doing, do that, and then these perks have the ability.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Hines. Whatever you like doing, do it. How will Mr. Caption get to his Archery 60 perk now? Well, yeah, Pete. Have you thought about that? He's going to have a perk point. Doing nothing. Just sitting there all alone by itself for like half a level. Okay, do you know how bad that feels? You made him level speech on an off level, Pete. You made him level speech on an off level.
To further refine that experience, whether it's, I like using maces or I like using axes or, this kind of weapon or two-handed or this kind of magic.
Right.
And refining that experience. I think that's really smart and it comes across really well in the minute-to-minute gameplay and in leveling up.
Is it minute-to-minute gameplay or is it leveling up? Because one of those things is not minute-to-minute. What do we want to... Hey, what do we want to bet that Pete Hines is a stealth archer player? Smart design of the minute-to-minute gameplay of leveling up. That's a brand new sentence.
Which happens more rapidly now. And I think that's another good change, that rather than making you wait longer for bigger changes, sort of breaking that up and pacing it at the earlier stages so that you feel that progression a bit more and you can further define that path. And I think the thing that folks may not grasp is, given how many perks there are, that when you finally hit,
it's just so overwhelming. There's just so many, there's 80 levels and like 240 perks.
The level cap, that you're not going to have gotten to, a quarter of all of the perks out there.
Oh, yeah, he like literally says it. Okay. Wow. Impressive. Is that something you really want to say? I guess, like, the people of the time didn't have the context to be like, wait a second, you can't get all the perks on a single character?
So there is a ton of stuff still untapped, and certainly a big reason to...
I don't know if he would answer the stealth archer question. I think he would approach it like, well, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to show favoritism to a particular playstyle because it might alienate part of the audience. So it's like, sometimes I enjoy playing a stealth archer, but, sometimes I enjoy playing a warrior, and sometimes I enjoy playing a wizard. It's just one of those things. What can you do? That's how he would answer that question.
Go back and replay the game.
Yeah, I think Todd said something like 200 and some in the Game Informer podcast.
Yeah, ridiculous. Okay, so next question is another incredibly important Skyrim-related question. What will the price of horse armor be in Skyrim?
Oh,
Oh no. Oh no. Oh god, this aged really badly. It's free content. It's free content, and I feel so bad because now I know that there will be at least one video where this pops up before I get the chance to make mine. Bada bing, bada boom. It writes itself.
Next question is another incredibly important Skyrim related question. What will the price of horse armor be in Skyrim?
oh, we
This is from the Ginger Bomb. I'm calling him out on this.
Yeah. Yes, the oft maligned horse
Yeah.
armor. No, I don't think we will be doing anything like that in Skyrim. Yes, poor horse armor will always be a bit of a punchline in the industry. And if we had to do it over again, we probably would do it slightly differently. But it is what it is.
Was that the first DLC?
It was the
on
first
Xbox
DLC, first
360?
DLC anybody did, and so the difficulty was we had no barometer. Like we were
Right.
looking at like, what do people pay for themes? What do they pick for gamer picks? Like we had nothing else to refer to. So part of it was just what it was. If we had to do it over again, I think what we would do is
Shocked and amazed. The person that asked that question was later found dead. Suicide by 3 shots to the back of the head. Suicide by shot to the cock.
in the industry, and if we had to do it over again, we probably would do it slightly differently.
Oh, hang on. Oh no. What'd they do? There we go. Now in the video.
Would do it slightly differently, but it is what it is.
Was that the first DLC?
It is what it is. He said it. He said it. It is what it is. What can you do? He said the thing.
Xbox
First
360.
DLC anybody did, and so the difficulty was we had no barometer. Like we were
Right.
looking at like, what do people pay for?
Yeah, you know, this is literally like this is literally like Cain and Abel. Like, yeah, you know, there was a murder before it, so I didn't do anything wrong. You know, I didn't had no basis to know. Like, there was nobody at the office that we said, hey, would you pay $5 for this horse skin armor? And everybody at the office said, yeah, that sounds like a fair thing. There was nobody at Bethesda who had a brain that said that was a bad idea.
For themes, what do they pick for gamer picks? Like we had nothing else to refer to. So part of it was
We had no basis for our marketing research, so we just took a shot in the dark.
just what it was. If we had to do it over again, I think what we would do is we would just have done a different DLC first at the
Right.
price we did it at. Like, you know, Fighter Stronghold, and
Yeah.
nobody would have blinked an eye, or they certainly wouldn't have made.
Oh, so by implication, you would have still done horse armor. You just wouldn't have done it first. Because nobody would have blasted your ass for how useless fucking Fighter Stronghold was.
Quite as big a deal of it, but I think because of what it was, I think the fact
Your Honor, in my client's defense, he was retarded. Like, that's kind of the energy I'm getting from this.
I think-
Also, my white whale. Cut that shit out.
the fact that you were being asked to pay for horse armor
What was the most useful Oblivion House DLC? Frostcrag Spire.
and that was the very first time it got much, that it sort of became the lightning rod for this whole idea of paying for additional content in a game, and you know, the idea of being nickel and dime to death, which I think in
Yeah, and it definitely wasn't the fact that you, like, when you raised the price as a joke, and then we're, like, proud that people were still buying it. And it definitely wasn't the, like, you know, there was no control. You couldn't go to Microsoft and say, hey, we're charging $2.50 for this thing. Could you, like, lower the price to, like, 50 cents or something? You know, it was just impossible. You couldn't lower the price. That's not a thing that you can do. No, once you price something, it stays that price forever. That's why you can still buy horse armor for two. Well, you probably still can buy horse armor on Xbox Live, but I mean, like, you get my point. Is like, there was lots you could do.
In our own
Or
defense,
Microsoft pointed.
right? But I think in our own defense, we have probably better than anybody
I don't think they would have even had to pay the 60 grand to change the price on the Xbox Live Marketplace.
used it as a way to expand the game experience. And I think given how much content we give you when you buy the game, I don't think anybody could say, this was somehow portending awful things to come because we were going to, cut short on the content and make you pay for all the extras. I would have to say we've done anything but, and our DLC has been a pretty good example of how to do it and do it well.
We've really learned how to extract the wealth from modders. Yeah, we don't nickel and dime anybody. We go for we go full quarter and half dollars here. We'll go for the golden dollar if we can.
Also,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Shivering Isles and the Fallout stuff.
sure,
great
all
stuff.
of that stuff.
Yeah, we redeemed ourselves. We eventually released an expansion pack. Like, come on, guys. Pete, we found lingerie and thigh highs in your locker. Care to explain? Well, it's one of those things where we're trying to get the authentic, we're trying to get like the sort of, authentic experience of being a woman. And, there's no women who work for our company. So it's like, sometimes some of our employees, we point a shotgun at them and we say, hey, put these thigh highs and lingerie on. And let's really get a look at what the feminine form is like. You know how it is. It is what it is. What can you do?
It's gone over really well.
Cool. The next question comes from Surgeon Kyle, and
Surgeon Kyle.
he's asking any hints on the new Fallout New Vegas DLC, as well.
Oh my god. God. I'm gonna skip this. I'm gonna leave it in, but I'm gonna skip this.
I think they all kind of nicely connect to one another and tell a good story.
They would have been charged for every single update. Yes, but I doubt they would have been charged for like price corrections on the Xbox Live Marketplace. That's my point. Is you don't need a content update to change a price tag, especially with like the PR nightmare that was going on. With that situation, because it looked bad for Microsoft too.
We'll probably have more information on that very soon, on exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, God forbid we leak the details on what's going on with Fallout New Vegas's DLC early. The real time-sensitive information.
And they'll come pretty regularly, so kind of month after month coming up here.
Endless DLC.
So I think by this summer you'll have a nice suite of Fallout New Vegas stuff, if that's a good enough hint.
Cool.
Nice. Next question is, do we have any current plans for collector's editions for upcoming releases?
Do we have any plans? Absolutely. Have we announced them? I don't think we have for anything yet.
We haven't announced them, so I'm not going to answer your question. It's like, well, we wouldn't ask the question if you had already fucking told people the answer in an announcement, you dumbass.
No.
Nope.
So for
I apologize. I got tilted. No, I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
products that we feel like they are appropriate and for which we think we can come up with cool stuff that is a good value, kind of going back to the DLC argument, whenever we think we can come up with some cool ideas and cool content that gamers would want, particularly folks who are fans of studios, fans of franchises, we absolutely look to do that stuff. But, not...
No, you don't understand my point. Changing the price of something is not a content update.
Not unlike a game, you don't want to call the ball too early where it turns out you wanted to do something, and this has happened a lot in my time at Bethesda. You wanted to do something and you get far down the road and all of a sudden you find out, oops, you can't do that for this reason or that reason, or you can't make them fast enough. So I think we like to wait.
Draugr Girl VTuber model. What's wrong with you? What went wrong in your life? You want to draw a girl VTuber model? What's wrong with you?
To make sure, we have all of our ducks lined up before we say, okay, here's what it is and here's what it's contained. So,
Pete, do you realize how useless it is to answer a question when your typical modus operandi is to not say anything that hasn't already been announced? That means it's literally pointless.
But
Stay tuned. I guess.
Yeah, we will definitely let folks know as soon as we can what games those might be for and what they'll contain.
Okay. I think you actually answered this in a interview for VG247.
Which means that you can actually answer it on the podcast, Pete. You can answer it on the podcast, Pete, since you said it before. I understand the rules now.
But underscore Sub-Zero asks, is there any plans to make a game for the
XX Balls Deep 69XX.
next generation PlayStation or Nintendo 3DS?
I have no basis to understand. What's the next generation PlayStation? I doubt the 4 had been announced yet.
The handheld,
Yeah.
right? The new PSP.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
We don't have any current announced handheld stuff. If you look at our track record, we haven't done much handheld stuff at all.
Let me clarify. We haven't done much handheld stuff successfully.
Over the last, over the last decade that I've been here. I mean, we did one Star Trek game, and that might be it. Yeah, I think that was it. So obviously, it's not been a big focus for us. We've done some things on iPhone with the id guys, and I
Blah, blah, blah. This looks like the next question.
right now for
Okay.
You can tell when like the question ends because Pete just kind of literally every every question ends with Pete just kind of trailing off.
right now for anything on those platforms.
Okay. And the final question, which is actually a timely one, what's going on with Rage lately?
What's going on with Rage lately? Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. I don't give a shit. All right. What's going on with? Are you fucking kidding me? What's the next one? Load me up. Episode 8, Oblivion 5th anniversary special. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say no. And the reason is we already did this one. It's in the Oblivion video. They don't talk about Skyrim in that podcast. It's an interesting episode because it's really long. It has a bunch of different people and it has like a bunch of insight. But yeah, episode 9 is about Brink. Episode 10 is about Prey 2. Talk about, oh god, man, this is why you don't have a Bethesda podcast anymore, is because they did a show, an entire episode about Prey 2 with Human Head co-founders Jim Sumwalt and Chris Reinhardt. Episode 11, QuakeCon Special Edition oh god, Special Edition. Take a trip down memory lane with members of id Software as they discuss the company's early years, the magic of QuakeCon. Okay, so it's not actually our QuakeCon. It's the real QuakeCon. Episode 12, Dishonored to Meet You, with Rafael Coliatano and Harvey Smith. That's a Boulder Punch topic. All right, and then we get into the actual Skyrim podcast number 1. So, that's pretty easy. What's the date on this? October 28th, 2011. Oh my god. Yeah, we really jumped ahead in the continuity here. Did they get Carmack and Romero in the same room? Okay, these guys are not brave enough to do that. The orc model makes you seem angrier. The orc model is angrier. That's kind of the rules. How this works.
Sure.
Don't waste my fucking time with this music shit. Telling me you can put music in the podcast, but you can't fucking actually edit out all the clickings.
The one thing that I'm usually careful about with
Todd Howard. Lay it on me, Todd.
people like Ray and Adam, who are incredibly skilled and creative, I give them like a tone, a feeling that we're going for.
Executive Game Director Todd Howard.
Thank you
So
for
what
that.
happens, I'd say half the time you get something that is tonally,
Yeah, but you have to realize Elder Scrolls orcs, at least as far as Skyrim is concerned, are not, 40K style, like forest green. They're kind of that, like really pale green.
different than what you were thinking. But even in that, there are elements that you didn't expect. So they're both very good at drawing a lot of stuff. Like even one picture has a lot of elements in it. So you might look at it and think, that's not what I was thinking at all, but what is that thing over there? What is that? What is that? Can you do some more of that? Or what were you thinking here? It's more like they're drawing things and they are designing the game as they draw things.
It was like completely blue sky.
Concept artist Adam Adamowicz.
All right, cool. Adam Adamo. I better fucking make sure I know how to spell his name. Adamowicz. Got a Polish last name. I have to remember this is the voice of Adam.
It was like completely blue sky.
Concept artist Adam Adamowicz.
Todd said, sit down and draw a bunch of cool, weird shit, and we'll...
I actually changed the name.
look at it and decide what's kind of worthwhile and what's really stupid, and we'll kind of take it from there. But the whole very loosely atmospheric, we want badassery Vikings versus Conan, classic Frank Frazetta, and it's going to be set in Skyrim, and this is a place that's going to be a lot more brutal and gritty.
Yes, this sounds about right. Just a real fucking word salad of ideas. We can do gritty, realistic Nordic people, or we can do Conan. But Todd, I'm going to really need you to commit on this one. Which one is it going to be?
Draw a bunch of stuff.
In the early days of the project, I would reference Conan.
Yeah, we know you like Conan.
In the early days of the project, I would reference Conan a lot, sort of as its universe and the way it treats. You know, we wanted to treat magic.
Conan stuff is usually pretty realistic. The guy that doesn't wear a shirt is really gonna fit in Skyrim.
As something very, very special in the world, so it would feel more grounded, rugged, not clean, all of those things.
It was music to my ears when I heard that they wanted to take it a little more of a grittier direction.
Concept artist Ray Lederer.
Oh, what the fuck? Ray Lederer? Is that an Irish name? Is that the right Ray even? Yeah, it's the right Ray. What the hell kind of name is Lederer? It's German. It means leather worker. Interesting.
Rugged, not clean, all of those things.
It was music to my ears when...
Thank God they all sound different. I might actually remember which one's which.
It was music to my ears when I heard that they wanted to take it a little more of a grittier direction.
Concept artist Ray Lederer.
And I was like, cool, well, let's make it a little... My mantra at the time I think from the very beginning was let's make it a little less Renfest and a little more Motorhead concert. So, you know, I kind of wanted like a biker bar kind of feel.
My wares.
What does that mean?
Assemble.
I hate artists. Because artists, like, have a really hard time of, like, communicating their ideas verbally. So, they'll just kind of, like, almost every artist will explain things in, like, references and sort of, like, comparisons for the ideas that they have in their head, rather than, like, segmenting it out with, like, descriptions of what the fuck they're actually talking about.
Well, yeah, okay. I don't want to steal that joke, but yeah, it was yeah. So a little bit more of a biker bar Viking kind of feel.
Biker bar Viking feel. Biker bar Viking feel. I don't know how to feel about that. I kind of wanted a gay bar. No, that was Oblivion.
This was what I, you know, hopefully we got some of that in there. So.
Well, you always draw these really animated characters that, you know, you take one glance at the silhouette and you had that weird little goblin. He's tiptoeing with this giant lantern. You could almost hear the Warner Brothers.
Wait, is that Adam or is that Ray?
It was like completely.
Okay, that's Adam.
Well, you always draw these really. You always draw these really animated characters that, you know, you take one glance at the silhouette and you had that weird little goblin. He's tiptoeing with this giant lantern. You could almost hear the Warner Brothers sound effects, like bing, 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 bing. Todd looked at that. We didn't end up using that guy.
Yeah.
But a lot of times for the, you know, the overall ideas, it's a very vague, all right, we need some seductress fairy type princess that lures you to your doom in the woods.
Seductress, fairy type princess that lures you into the woods. Yeah, I have no clue what the fuck they're talking about. It's basically like, again, Todd Howard basically just says like a bunch of fucking words and makes the artists work to the bones.
What does she look like? I have no idea.
Generally, I let them run.
Like, I have no idea.
Generally, I let them run wild, and then when they've run in a certain direction that either we like or don't like, we say go more in that direction and less in this direction. And they're both amazingly. People look at some of this concept art.
Yeah, we used to have this guy that worked for us that did concept art. His name was Michael Kirkbride, and he would make some like really weird shit, and like we kept telling him, you know, you're a concept artist, you're not a writer. Can you stop submitting books to write for us? But like he kept submitting books, and he would like he'd draw these weird fucking pictures, and he'd be like, yeah, so this is what Shea Gorath looks like. And we're like, thanks Michael, but we're not putting this in the fucking game. So can you create a concept art for Shea Gorath that's actually like, you know, something that the modelers can make? Thank you.
I don't think what they can appreciate, what amazes me is how fast they are. They can do this stuff so quickly and at a high quality level. It boggles my mind.
Welcome to the first developer diary for the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. On this episode, we go behind the scenes to meet concept artists Adam Adamowicz and Ray Lederer. Friends for years, Adam and Ray had the difficult task of conceptualizing the unique look of Skyrim, from the province's wild creatures and cultures, all the way down to what a Nord's lunch might look like. As you can imagine, this was no easy task.
Oh yeah, the real complicated lunches that they came up with Skyrim, you know, which is just really generic food. Like, they have bread and like filleted fish and like Cheese to die for. I like the notion that somebody's day was working on like a really cool fantasy kind of lunch that a Nord would have, and then they were like, "That's dumb. Just make generic fucking food, you idiot."
As you can imagine, this was no easy task.
It was hard to come up with ideas for stuff with all of
Who the fuck? God damn it, I can't remember. Is that Ray or Adam?
Yeah, so
It doesn't sound like either of them.
with this giant lamp.
Oh no, wait, it does sound like Adam. Never mind.
Love Lord of the Rings. It was hard to come up with ideas for stuff with all of the Lord of the Rings. Well, I love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, it was like, I would have like an idea, and then like I would show it to Todd, and he would say like, "Oh yeah, that's stupid." I was watching Lord of the Rings again, and I really want you to like put this thing from Lord of the Rings in Skyrim. I'm a really big fan of Gondor, and so we're gonna base Whiterun's design on Gondor. And it's like, wait, don't you mean Rohan? And he's like, what? You're fucking fired, Adam.
As you can imagine, this was no easy task.
It was hard to come up with ideas for stuff with all of the Lord of the Rings. Well, I love Lord of the Rings. It's gorgeous.
yeah, we all love Lord of the Rings.
And so how do
already
you
did it.
How do you beat that? That's really that's kind of what
Yeah.
it came down to. How do you do something really cool in this genre and have it be original and not have it ape all these other things?
Ray joined the project several months in, so Adam was Ray joined the project several months in.
Wait, no, I think this is the interview. God, this is so fucking confusing.
So Adam was responsible for handling many of the early conceptual sketches. Lead artist Matt Carafano.
Adam had some
Wait, oh god damn it. The fucking thing didn't say that Matt was gonna be in this one.
And so how do
already
you
did it.
How do you beat that? That's really that's kind of what
Yeah.
it came down to. How do you do something really cool in this genre and have it be original and not have it ape all these other things?
Ray joined the project several months.
Doing the thankless task of fucking writing this shit out so that later I know. Who's Matt? Matt Carafano, lead artist.
Months in, so Adam was responsible for handling many of the early conceptual sketches. Lead artist Matt Carafano.
Adam had some really good.
Wait, no, I'm confused. I'm confused again.
Ray joined the project several months in, so Adam was responsible for handling many of the early conceptual sketches. Lead artist Matt Carafano.
Yeah, okay, I'm like confused because okay, the way they presented it is person will talk. If a new person talks, they get one sentence in, and then one of the people, like the hosts, like they'll say who it is, right? But that's the same person. So is he quoting Matt Carafano in this situation? Or is he Matt Carafano? I thought he was like Matt G something, one of the marketing people. I'm really fucking confused. Who is this?
So Adam was responsible for handling many of the early conceptual sketches. Lead artist Matt Carafano.
Adam had some really good ideas
And then who's this?
for what the ancient Nords looked like. That's was some of the
Okay, so this is not someone new. So is it? I think it's Ray.
kind of
Assemble
feel.
my wares.
Artist Ray Letterer.
And I was like,
Who the fuck is this? Who are these people? God, I'm already fucking confused.
Adam had some really good ideas for what the ancient Nords looked like. That's was some of the starting ground, I think, for how the whole game looked.
We spent
Okay,
How the whole game looked.
Todd is like my guiding light right now. I know what Todd sounds like. So I got two different people here, and I don't know who's who. So it's like, this is Ray.
Like, cool. Well, let's make it a little. My mantra at the top.
And then
Really conceptual.
that's not Ray.
Nords look like.
That's not Ray. So this is Adam.
But a lot of times for the overall ideas, it's a very vague. All right, we.
Like many of the early.
That's not Adam.
What the ancient.
That's not Adam either. Who the fuck are they? God damn it.
We spent, I think there's some of this in the art book, but it's only 10% of it. We wanted to find, the ancient Nordic culture. So what do the Nordic ruins look like? Because you've seen so many different ruins in so many games, and oh my gosh, we went through so many iterations, and like, how did they build these things? And like, okay, and the idea was it's epic reality. So when you see the pyramid,
3420. Didn't he like flat out say this in the making of documentary? Oh God, no, please. The dementia is kicking in again. I swear to God, he said this he said the epic reality thing in the making of. For TV, articles, animation blending, QuakeCon 2011, making of documentary. Well, if he did, I didn't write it down, but it's like epic dementia hours. But like he said it the same exact way.
and the idea was it's epic reality. So when you see the pyramids, what do you think of them now looking at them? Like, wow, that is
I think of a Bass Pro Shop.
really impressive. But then go back in time. How did they even build that?
Block by block. They got a bunch of people to sign into a Minecraft server.
Coming up with what Draugr were and what.
All right, so this is a new person.
Coming up with what Draugr were. Gorgeous.
Yeah, we all love Lord of the Rings.
And so how do
already
you
did it?
How do you beat that? That's really what.
It's not Adam.
And I was like,
It's not Ray. It's whoever.
Like many of the early conceptual sketches.
Coming up with what Draugr were and what Nords were like in the past really helped us figure things out. What the ruins looked like, what their patterns looked like. I wanted to base things off of a lot of,
Who are you, mystery person?
Neolithic stonework, and he had the idea of kind of making the burial tombs look like dragon rib cages.
And there was one
burial tombs look like dragon rib cages.
And there was one he drew.
Adam? It doesn't sound like Adam. This is Adam.
Sit down and draw a bunch of cool, weird shit, and we'll look at it and decide what's kind of worthwhile and what's really stupid, and we'll kind of take it from there. But the whole very loosely atmospheric
Okay, so that's Adam.
of, Neolithic stonework, and he had the idea of kind of making the burial tombs look like dragon rib cages.
No, he's not swearing enough.
That weird little goblin, he's tiptoeing with this giant lantern. You could almost hear the Warner Brothers sound effects, like bing, 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 bing.
It kind of.
Anyways.
There was one he drew where it kind of encompassed the A-frame Nordic thing, but with stone, while forming the.
Well, to be fair, we've established chat doesn't know who sounds like who. Like, literally somebody said, I sound like Mr. Caption. I will now play or somebody said I sounded like Mr. Caption, another person said I sound like Salt Factory. So this is who I sound like.
except Bretons or Argonians or whoever. If I had been the guy on the Bethesda writing team charged with working...
Okay, so I sound like that person, and I also sound like this person.
He gives you an amulet as payment as well. One
I definitely sound like this person.
that he assures will pay for any and all
So I don't trust you, chat, when you say who's who. Because you guys are fucking, like, deaf.
Spine of like a dragon on a mountain, and there's a
dragon on a mountain. What does it represent? Man is climbing the mountain. He is becoming greater than himself.
he did it as a sketch, and it was like, bam, oh man, that is it. And then he did I'll flesh that out as a painting, and still one of my favorite images. And it's been released. You've seen it, but it's super unique. And they're both Ray and Adam very good at storytelling. And here's the pit where they would worship the dragon, and then they'd put the people in here, and this is where we'd eat it, and all of those things.
And then all of that didn't make it in the game.
Made it into the.
Oh, come on. My white whale has appeared.
Made it into the game.
You know, all you take just that inch of not being immersed or how do you
did it?
How do you beat that? That's really what inch of.
Yeah, this is Adam. They didn't fix his mic in the middle of the interview.
You know, all you take just that inch of not being immersed or having a Dixie cup.
Oh, whoops. Dixie cup? What the fuck? Oh. Like the red Solo cup.
Or having a Dixie cup sitting on the table is supposed to be, you know, King Hrothgar's High Hall, and then, you know, all of a sudden here's this weird modern artifact in there. It can kind of blow the whole thing. It's pretty mentally taxing. You're sitting there, someone says, draw a table, and you're like, oh, for the love of God.
Well, not only does he sound different, he talks in a completely different cadence and, like, with different vocabulary, and it's like, nah, they're all Adam, dude. Like, why do you keep saying it's Todd Howard? That's Adam Adamowicz.
God, it's flat surface with 4 legs. Can I draw like a giant goblin, you know, vomiting smaller goblins? Or the meat.
The meat. Oh, the meat. The meat. The meat was that was
one of the most difficult concept art tasks that I've ever seen anyone saddled with, and made very, very cool. And it's become, I think, Ray's legacy.
Well, Todd
legacy.
Made sure of that.
I'm reinforcing it.
I would go by.
I'm reinforcing it.
I would go by.
Did we miss someone's introduction? Well, it's like, okay, here's like the confusion, right? So I got this part with this says Matt Carafano. And so it's like this.
Ray joined the project several months in, so Adam was responsible for handling many of the early conceptual sketches. Lead artist Matt Carafano.
Okay, so it's like, oh, well, there you go. That's the missing person. But here's typically how it goes.
It was like completely blue sky.
Concept artist Adam Adamowicz.
Okay, you see my issue here? Typically what happens is person talks, person gets introduced by podcast host. But it's like, it's the same voice. So is the podcast host Matt Carafano? I don't think that's true. Because like, there's a Matt, but I'm pretty sure at the start of all this, they were like, he had a different name. Maybe he got married? He married into the Carafano family?
All right, I'm Matt.
Oh,
is that too loud?
Well, I thought you were going to say I'm Matt Grandstaff. So
right.
Yeah, so his name is Matt Grandstaff. So, like, there's multiple Matts here. But it's like, is it Matt Carafano?
Conceptual sketches.
Okay, so that doesn't sound like Matt Grandstaff. So, is this Carafano?
Artist Matt Carafano.
Adam had some really good ideas.
Who the fuck is this?
Ancient Nords.
See my confusion, right? So I'm just powering through it. I'll figure it out later.
Go by every so often. Less and less as the project goes on. Like early on, I'm very much with them a lot, with some of the other guys. And as the project goes on, Matt Carafano has a number of things he needs them to draw that, you know, we're just cranking out assets, so I don't get too in tune with like all of the assets, but I'll come by every so often and see what they're drawing. And I came.
White whale. There it is again.
And I came by and Ray is just drawing meat. I'm like, why are you drawing meat? It's like, well, Matt wants me to draw meat. We need to draw all the meat.
And so it's like, well, we got to have accurate representations of what these things are. It's like, well, we got to
all the meat.
And so it's like, well,
Adam had some.
Was responsible for handling.
That's sitting there. Someone says, "Draw it."
I don't want to steal that joke. Fast.
Sorry if it's jumping around. I'm trying to figure out who's who.
Take it a little more of a grittier direction.
I'm like, what?
Of what these things are. Well, we got to have accurate.
I think that's Ray.
They wanted to take it a little more of a grittier direction.
No, it's this person.
You know.
Tiptoeing with this giant lantern, you could almost hear the Warner Brothers sound effects. Like,
God, it's so confusing.
Got to have accurate representations of what these things are.
Lead artist Matt Carafano.
Adam had some really good ideas.
There we go.
Accurate representations of what these things are. It can't just be photographs. So it's got to be concept art. So it's like, all right, well, I'll draw some meat.
And I was like, people know what meat looks like. Why don't you draw shit we don't know what it looks like? Like, you know, here's my list of stuff that I have no idea what it looks like.
Todd Howard's saying a gamer word. Add it to the lexicon.
And they were all set on, look, this is important. And I think my line was, this is a serious misuse of artistic manpower.
Oh wait, when did Todd come back? I gotta
Concept
fix
art.
it.
So it's like, all right, well, I'll draw some meat.
And I was like, we know it. People.
Hang on, I think I fucked it up, so I'm just gonna copy it.
People know what meat looks like. Why don't you draw shit we don't know what it looks like? Like, you know, here's my list of stuff that I have no idea what it looks like. And they were all set on, look, this is important.
How do you draw something you don't know what it looks like? That's the job of the concept artist.
And I think my line was, this is a serious misuse.
This is infuriating. Just play the video, Lamau. Hey, dumbass. I'm in fucking Premiere. I'm literally making the video.
Of artistic manpower right here.
Let's see, how do we draw mammoth meat? Oh, let's see. Let's see. If I were in the field and I was gonna kill a mammoth, the giants are always herding. They're like the shepherds of the mammoth. So if there's a giant chasing me after,
who's this?
Let's see. How do we draw?
Artistic manpower right here.
All right. This is somebody else.
How do we draw mammoth meat? Oh, let's see. Let's see. If I were in the field and I was gonna kill a mammoth, the giants are always herding. They're like the shepherds of the mammoth. So if there's a giant chasing me after I just killed his mammoth, the first thing I'm gonna go for is I'm gonna chop that trunk right off and throw it in my satchel and run. So now we have this really obscene looking phallus thing that you...
I think it's a Nord sippy straw.
Yeah, it's full of cheese.
It's already a packet full of cheese.
Yeah.
So there's this concept image.
Was everyone introduced properly? Well, that's the big fucking question, isn't it? I have no clue if they were all introduced properly. I'm the one who's putting the names on there.
Of all of these pieces of meat, and it started becoming our joke. If I wanted a picture of something and we didn't have it, well, I'm glad we have that picture of meat. And it's still hanging up. We were gonna blow it up as a big poster. It has like horker meat and the like mammoth snout.
And the horker meat, is another I think they
plenty
should...
of whiskers in that one.
Yeah, they would. You'd use those for toothpicks.
Yeah, it is kind of erotic. Lots of erotic potential and meat. Beat my meat to the sound of the beat.
Sure.
But I think as a 7-Eleven late night snack, it should be shrink wrapped.
Yeah.
With some sort of Skyrim. Like, I don't know if they smoke cigarettes, but
The end result was good.
Oh, wait, hang on.
The end result was
Todd comes back here.
In that one.
Horker meat and the mammoth snout.
And the Horker meat.
God, so this is edited where it intermixes between all each other. I think Ray and Adam are in the same room, but I don't think Todd's in the same room as them. Like, that seems to be editing trickery.
You know, all you take.
While he was.
Sure.
But I think it's Horker meat.
So this is Adam.
You know, there's another. I think they
plenty
should...
of whiskers in that one.
Yeah, they would. You'd use those for toothpicks.
Sure.
But I think as a 7-Eleven late night snack, it should be shrink wrapped.
Yeah.
With some sort of Skyrim. Like, I don't know if they smoke cigarettes, but.
The end result was good. While he was working on it, I did throw a little fit. Why is Ray drawing meat? You know, draw exotic Daedric artifacts from beyond time or something. You're drawing a steak. is that why you're here? But yeah, I was proven wrong.
Music break. This is when this is when the podcast editor started getting really artsy, because they did this shit with the Oblivion one too, where they would you don't understand, those Oblivion podcasts, I cut out a shit ton of music from them.
I think that Ray's personal weirdness and my personal weirdness, because we've known each other for 11, 15.
Plenty of whiskers in that one.
Yeah.
We're back to Adam.
That Ray's personal weirdness and my personal weirdness, because we've known each other for 11, 15. How many beers later? There's definitely some eclectic tastes, I think, for, what's boring and cliched about fantasy. Ray was talking about, Moby Dick. I've been reading that. It's awesome. It reads like a fantasy book.
Mm-hmm,
we were talking about...
It is like a fantasy book.
Classical literature is a inspiration.
If you look at classical literature or art or anything else, I mean, most art that you see, especially religious...
Please stop talking about literature. Please.
Just art, which is most of it, I guess. It's all fantasy art in a way, you know?
I'm a big fan of fantasy shows like Star Trek.
It's all fantastical and...
Seraphim.
Yeah, it's great.
Demons.
So, that's what makes it interesting. That's why people like it. So hopefully we're mining some of that.
Yeah, James Gurney, our favorite artist, the Dinotopia guy. His line, I prefer my art heroes dead.
Mm-hmm.
And his point being, you pick something that's 200 years old, chances are it's got some merit to it.
No, his point was that the artists that get celebrated are usually celebrated posthumously.
Thinking about how the environment itself kind of shapes the culture, and
so I'm probably just gonna say that all the mystery people are Matt Carafano, and just
and trying to incorporate that stuff in there, while simultaneously creating our own culture rather than just ripping off, real Scandinavian culture, right? So we want to come up with our own symbology and our own look to even stones and rocks and trees and whatever, you try to figure out a way to make those things original. If you just all right, come up with a a bear,
Squid bear?
A squid bear, perhaps. Yeah. Yes. And I'm glad that some people actually got it. Because most people thought it was just a bear and a mammoth and a guy in a scene. But...
yeah, because there's so many, unique animals that are in Skyrim.
A few people really got what I was going for, and they saw the vision I had.
Okay, this is definitely Matt Carafano then. If he's talking about being the lead. I'm just why in that instance did he introduce himself?
Which pleased me to no end. It wasn't a compositional mistake at all, actually.
You've seen the T-shirts, right?
I saw one guy. Yeah, who's the guy in the Destructoid? Yeah. I thought that was really sweet. I thought that was really cool. I'm like, hey, thanks.
Arrived.
I've arrived. I felt like, man,
awesome.
Any attention is good attention, I suppose. And I have to admit, I felt a little, oh God, I got to go back and change that picture at first. But then I'm like, screw it, that's fun, you know. It's a Squidbarian.
What the fuck are you talking about?
The Squidbarian enclave will meet secretly in their bunker.
Yes.
In their mom's basement.
This is that DLC proposal, right?
It's the DLC proposal. There will be, that you've heard it here first, there will be squid bears.
Say, fair damsel, would you care to come back to
I'll leave
my
that to the modders.
Longhouse to view my squid bear etchings? I think between Ray and I, we always try to add.
I zoned out. Did they say leave it to the modders?
We'll meet secretly in their
Yes.
bunker.
Yes.
In their mom's basement.
This is that DLC proposal, right?
It's the DLC proposal. There will be, that you've heard it here first, there will be squid bears.
Say, fair damsel, would you care to come back to
I'll leave
my
that to the modders.
Longhouse to.
Oh man. Okay. Cool.
I think between Ray and I, we always try to add any kind of extra embellishments because it always gets used. At some point or another, there's a level designer who's run out of ideas, and it's hard to come up with ideas when you're sitting behind a piece of, 3D modeling programming. Right? You've got all these tools in front of you, and I know from personal experience, your mind hits a complete blank. So when you have a folder of ideas to pick from, we have all these, Ray and I both, just massive amounts of thumbnails that people can leaf through while they're building a dungeon, and it really does make a difference to fleshing out the last part of that last wooden bowl and where it's sitting, so that when you look at a room, you can say, oh, before these people got killed by Falmer, or they got killed by Falmer, look, there's, the bowls are knocked over, and there's a splash of blood on the curtains. And, again, God is in the details, I guess. And then, of course, with the level designers, they take it to the nth degree. They run completely with the ideas. Ray and I couldn't draw enough. I mean, there's entire cities.
Yeah.
That you and I both feel guilty still, like, oh crap, I really should have drawn, like that, I missed a couple of houses in there. I can't believe I didn't draw that.
Yeah.
But the level designers are definitely artists in their own rights.
It's amazing how much they ran with so little information. I mean, I think we did the best we could at the time, but I mean, there's so much.
Because it's so hard to just copy paste houses.
Much more than what we drew that they did. That's just so amazing. Really cool stuff.
So what's that like, kind of seeing the realization of everything that you put in, created?
It's like Christmas. Yeah, it's really cool. It's so cool to see all that stuff come together, and it's.
So what's that like, kind of seeing the realization of everything that you put in, created?
It's like Christmas. Yeah, it's really cool. It's so cool to see all that stuff come together, and what's really amazing is just how much further they take it, and how much cooler it is than I feel like I drew. It's awesome.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Awesome.
Yeah, I almost can't take credit for it at a certain point.
Yeah.
Even looking at the, the Alduin, especially the props that were made for the trade show.
What I like is my eyes are not closed. They're not even close to squinted, but it thinks that like my eyes are closed anyways. So I'm just asleep. Who's the sleepiest girl? Oh, definitely this one.
Show. I think of, I did a brief foray into prop making, and you get paid $7 an hour to get screamed at while you have a hot glue gun in your hand, and the Alduin they built is just massive. So for me, even just doing the drawing of it, and then looking at, people rigging it, Gary's rigging it, and Jonah is doing the ZBrush passes on that, and I think it's like, I can't watch televised sports because they bore me, but the football and
Power through. Make it to the end.
Everyone carries it across the finish line.
Just joined chat today. What did I miss? We found a really funny strategy guide for Morrowind. Could you not? This is excessive. You're really just gonna sit on this for a while, huh? Just really feeling that runtime. Yo, people have to download these to listen to them. You know that, right?
The elf grinder trap.
Alright. That's literally 22 seconds of music.
Across the finish line.
Oh yeah, that's definitely like Will Loves Video Game style. Speaking of, did he come back? Or is he still gone? He's still gone. Fuck. God damn it.
The elf grinder trap, that was one of the things that I posited too.
The elf grinder trap. Elf trap. That's what I took away from that. Oh, you want an elf trap? Okay, I can do that. Yeah, I got you. But this one's not a ghost. Elf grinder trap. Fuck it, fine. Elf trap grinder. There. But I like the elf trap part, because that's the part I'll remember. So it has to be that way.
One of our level designers. It's kind of like a Cuisinart or a disposal in a sink, specifically made for grinding up elves into a fine purple glittery powder.
Yeah.
Because they deserve it.
Because they deserve it. Oh no, it happened again. Wonder why that's happening. That's the first time I've seen that. It's like taking the sort of what's going on behind it and replacing it with that. Elves deserve it. They really do.
The elfometer, I was gonna make an elfometer too.
Wanted to do a bar scene with a Viking just punching out an elf, and then the entire crowd, they're just cheering the entire bar. It's like, yeah!
Wow. Bethesda definitely sides Ulfric Stormcloak. Oh no, please don't, not again! Not again! Literally ends with, so they have 22 seconds of music, and then they have 30 seconds of them making like racist elf jokes, and then 30 seconds of music and scene. Close. Done. Alright, we're at 45 minutes so far on this kind of compilation. Let us grab the next Skyrim podcast episode. Yay! Who's in it? We kick off this week's episode with a few stories from PAX, which is Penny Arcade Expo, and a big bag of reader mail. Then a short tale about the first QuakeCon is told, and Harvey Smith and Rafael Coliantano of Arcane Studios join us to talk about immersive... Oh, wait. Fuck! Fuck! I somehow scrolled to the bottom of the page. Skyrim Podcast 2. Go behind the scenes with Skyrim audio director Mark Lampert. Sorry, I kind of hinted that like some cool people would like be with Todd Howard, but it's actually just like Mark Lampert, who still doesn't understand sibilants.
Rated M for mature.
Hell yeah.
I am impressed with the work that
We stop spelling shit out one thing at a time. November 3rd, 2011. He's not dead, he's just gone for 5 minutes. That face when your lead audio guy doesn't know what a de-esser is. Well, like, the worst part is, it's really bad with some people. So it's like, apparently they left it up to, like, the recording studios to kind of fix up their audio. So it's like some actors have good kind of sibilance control, but a lot of them are just like, they're all sibilance. Yeah. Like every Daedric Prince is just like horrifically ear piercing.
I am impressed with the work that everyone does at this place, right? Like, that goes without question. Mark is the only person I've worked with here who I think he's actually a sorcerer.
Senior designer, Mo Pagliarulo.
Never mind. I thought that was Mark Lampert, but it was actually Emil. Wait, did he say Emil?
Senior designer, Mo Pagliarulo.
Oh, no, he said it right. He said it right, in quotes. Morrowind's about X, Oblivion's about Y, Skyrim's about Z. Is about how X, Y, Z relate to the player. Did I cover that? No, but it sounds familiar. It was like they break down like the lead design of each game.
He is like closer to being like a techno mage than anyone I've ever seen. I swear to God, when you watch him work and the way he manipulates sound and music like on his boards, it freaks me out. He could take anything that I'm saying right now, take the intro words, splice them together into a whole other sentence, and you would think that I said it, and he could do this in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's audio design people for you.
I've watched him do it. I swear to God, I don't know how he does it.
Well, you see, he opens a program, and he takes the sentence that you've recorded, and he clips each individual word, and then he just rearranges them. Really going for the music here, huh? Unfortunately, Mark Lampert was not the guy who made this podcast.
Welcome to the second developer
diary. Get the fuck out of here.
Welcome to the second developer diary for the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. On this episode, we feature Bethesda Game Studios audio director Mark Lampert. Mark joined the team near the end of Oblivion's development, making Skyrim the first Elder Scrolls project he's worked on from beginning to end. We caught up with him only a few days before the audio was scheduled to be locked, and true to form, he was busy tweaking sounds to perfection up to the very last minute.
I'm still working on the
Is it really a developer diary? No, it's more like a what do you call it when you point a gun at somebody and like coerce them to tell like law enforcement that they're not the hostages? Is there a term for that?
Very last minute.
I'm still working on the dragon shouts.
Wait a second. Is Patrician a VTuber? Always was. No, I mean, I've been doing this for 2 weeks.
It's actually the stuff that you hear the most when you are being attacked by the different dragons in the game. Well, okay, I'll play a little bit of this just because. So this is one part of one dragon's shout, and this is the stuff I'm still messing about with. So
Is that even in the game? Man, wouldn't it be cool if dragons used shouts instead of just roaring? Roaring and like shitting their pants and like stomping everywhere. They're not really like intelligent dragons or anything like that. It's more like toddlers.
This was what the actual voice actors started with. Let me pull all the effects off of it here. That is Torshul, the latter half of the full fire breath shout. But then there are the many different parts on top. Let's see, this is some version of the dragon scream that I did a long time ago and keep recycling in hopes of hopefully hitting the target of what I want this thing to sound like. Okay, so, you know, whatever. I took version 3 of that roar, and then I added a bunch of stuff to it, and I mixed it all out, and then I re-imported that sound into this project, and it's running through a bunch of reverb and delay. On top of that is part of the actual flame attack, which doesn't sound like too much. There's thunder, which I put on everything, along with a whole bunch of explosions.
This is all terribly interesting. But,
more thunder and lightning. And probably like a cannon blast or something like that.
this just sounds like really fucking nightmarish. Let's just stack all these impact effects on top of each other. That'll give it impact, right? If it's like 37 different things that surprise people, then that'll really be impactful. And it's like, no, it just sounds like a fucking mess.
And you know, all this will just be one part of the dragon shout at the end of it. This will play, I hope, in stereo and kind of echo around, in addition to the dragon itself doing, performing his own.
That's what Foley sounds like, though. Yes, but, you know, you don't go, I'm going to make a dragon shout, and I'm going to add lightning and cannons and ponies and gunshots and, like, the World of Warcraft level up sound effect.
Own voice shout, in addition to the flame attack and the sound of the magic that he's, you know, firing off at you and everything. And so hopefully that all works together in the game and sounds about right. And that's why it's gotten tricky, is because it's gotten so complicated. Yeah, it's this whole dragon sandwich. You know, and right now I'm working on the crust. I'm fairly certain about the filling. And if I get the right kind of mayo or mustard at the end, it'll be a pretty good sandwich.
Nice food metaphor. Should have used a hamburger, though. Alright, how long did they do the music this time? 12 seconds. Nice.
Easily the most, I wouldn't say it's obscure, because you're certainly going to notice them, but like the most difficult and the ones I've gone through the motions with the most, and still am, and even in this like last.
This is a weird point you're not making. This is how audio engineering works. Sure, I get that, but like, you're just slapping a bunch of shit on the wall. Like, I'm not saying, oh, he made a cannon sound effect and then he made a thunder sound effect. No, literally he said, yeah, I'm making this like dragon shout sound effect, so I'm just gonna like layer a bunch of shit on top of each other. And it's like, cool, it sounds really polluted. It's sort of like, okay, if you were really black-pilled, you would say like, I want to make all my sounds more impactful, so I'm gonna put like this really quiet kind of like, you know, level up sound around everything so it sounds more epic. But then like you do that like 10 times. That's what it comes off across as. Doesn't really matter if the end result sounds good anyways. Does it sound good though? Do the dragons sound good in Skyrim? News to me. The when they talk to you, they sound cool. But like the dragon shouts, I've never been impressed by them. It always did sound like a bukkake of sound with some shouts. Yeah, no, it sounds... When the dragons, like, shout at you, that sounds terrible. And apparently, that's because it's just the kitchen sink thrown at you. The kitchen sink of sound effects. You can't make sounds that don't exist. This is effectively a way of adding noise texture to the sound without generating literal white noise and upping or lowering the pitch. You can make sounds that don't exist, though. They're called synthesizers. The worst is when multiple Draugrs shout and it overlaps really badly. The Draugr shouts are like really badly mixed, so they're like 10 times louder than literally any other sound in the game. Shut the fuck up. That was my alarm to get ready to do the actual stream on time.
A couple days of being able to make any changes to the game is the dragons. They're a giant creature. They fly, which is different from any other creature. They're truly flying and navigating the landscape. They're huge. They can fly far away and then circle back and attack again, so they have to work over short distances and long distances. They need to roar and all that sort of stuff, but they also speak. We have the shouts, the way of the voice, and they have to use that. And so there are all these different facets that they cover.
Because dragons quickly became central to the world of Skyrim, their fictional language had to be worked
Who the fuck is this? This is definitely not Emil. He's too articulate.
out well in advance. Much of this early work was achieved in recording the Song of the Dragonborn, which featured music by composer Jeremy Soule and lyrics by designer Emil Pagliarulo.
So I wrote the Song of the Dragonborn, and
Alright, so you, my good sir, are question mark, question mark, question mark. You're Emil.
Dragonborn, and then the challenge.
I would say the music of... Or not... Well, of course the music sounds good. I would say the magic of Skyrim sounds good. The melee is serviceable. Archery is pretty mediocre. Hang on. We gotta brace ourselves for Emil, so I'm gonna give you guys a quick reprieve here. Skyrim magic sound effect. No, I don't give a shit about this. I just want to see the magic that's in Skyrim. Nice. Okay. Fuck me then. All right, let's see. Immersive sounds from 8 years ago. Let's see how they make it sound, and if it's better or worse. I'm gonna pause the music while we do this.
What's up, everybody? For this
Oh no! Please don't talk. Do not talk. Can't take this.
Currently, it affects.
Oh god damn it! Shut the fuck up. Just play the sound effects. Do yourself a favor. It's less work. All right. Well, this is a bust. Yeah, all I wanted from that video, it was 2 minutes. All I wanted was him to like play a vanilla sound effect and then play like a modded sound effect or something, and then we could laugh at them. How do you qualify the sound of leveling up and picking up coins or other objects on chests or containers? I mean, there's a coin sound effect. As for leveling up, I mean, typically you would want something that's impactful. Like, I could probably find this pretty quick. Morrowind. Browse local files. Data files, music, special. All right, here's what leveling up should sound like. There you go. We figured that out 20 years ago.
So I wrote the song of the Dragonborn, and then the challenge with that is we wanted it to rhyme in both English and dragon.
Why? The sort of thing, like, I gotta be honest with you. He always makes questionable decisions, and then I have to wonder, like, what was the logic? Like, this is such an ML thing, is like he will kick it off with like, so I had an absurd idea and I had to work really hard to make my absurd idea a reality. And it's like, cool, you don't have to play life on hard mode. Nobody would have actually cared if the Dragonborn main theme didn't rhyme in English. Most songs don't rhyme when you translate them. I'm glad the Dragons were really considerate when they wrote that song to make it work in both languages. Cool. Emil, can you please make like a good quest line? Like, let's go ahead. Mr. Caption, fuck your stupid. Why are you focusing on them reacting to you dropping stuff when you could be making completely like realistic reactions to traumatic events or whatever this thing was? Like, okay, let's pump the brakes there. Keep the realistic reactions, or keep the reactions to dropping stuff. Emil, why are you working on making a song rhyme in both languages? You can make the song. No. The issue isn't that the song rhymes. The issue is that it rhymes in both languages. Like, that's just an unnecessary amount of work that most people aren't going to notice. But you know what people are going to notice is that the Dark Brotherhood is dog shit.
So I wrote the song of the Dragonborn, and then the challenge with that is we wanted it to rhyme in both English and dragon. You know, so we just have this nice cadence to it. And so I wrote out the verses, and then we gave it to Jeremy Soule so we could record the choir.
And Jeremy responded, why do you want it to rhyme in both languages?
I think the most questions were answered about it when the main theme was done with the choir, and I have to use that. And so there are all these different factors.
You know, so we just have this nice cadence.
He just pops in.
And so
he pops in for 12 seconds.
The verses, and then we gave it to Jeremy Soule so we could record the choir.
I think the most questions.
Literally, I want to time. How long did Emil pop in there? That was his contribution. He pops in for 19 seconds and gives us an anecdote about something really stupid, and then passes it back to the guy that actually has to do like work at Bethesda.
I think the most questions were answered about it when the main theme was done with the choir in Los Angeles, singing to Jeremy Soule's music. And Emil had the lyrics written out by that point. We had talked about pronunciation, the choir.
All right, Emil, Mark, go ahead. Why don't you fill us in on what you did this week? And Emil's like, Oh yeah, I like made real mead, and I made a song rhyme in 2 languages, and it's like, cool, Mark, what did you do? And it's like, I made the sound effects for all the magic in the game.
Director Tim really got it right from the start. The choir really got it. I think they're used to working in different dialects and languages pretty often. This was a professional choir. They do this all the time. So
What a novel concept. Professionals.
they figured it out very, very quickly.
The choir, the way the choir sang it is the way it was in my head, but it was like, it skipped a verse and got like edited a little, but in a really good way.
Please don't copyright claim my channel just because I'm playing Skyrim music.
So having heard all that in the main theme and as much time as we had to hear it, which was 2 years between when that theme was recorded to the time fairly recently when we got the voice recording, we had a good feel for this is how you're going to say this. This is 2 eyes together is going to be the American long E sound. You know, we've got some fantastic people in the voice cast. They can be #1, great voice actors, very experienced in TV, cartoons, and video games, and the whole bit. But now we're throwing completely made-up words in front of them.
Managing the recording of thousands of lines of dialogue can quickly become a logistical nightmare as the game gets closer and closer to release.
Why? Why did we need that insert? You'd be surprised. I've seen people get fucked on music that they shouldn't.
What starts out as a small snowball becomes this enormous, mountain-sized ball of snow as it rolls down the hill as you get later and later into the project. Because once everything is written and you go to voice record it, the writers can't really change it anymore. It's like it's set in stone. And that's only one stage. Once we've done the English, then it goes on to, and most of the folks here don't even see the process, but this goes to other countries and then gets translated into all these other languages. I never even meet, a lot of the voice.
Yeah, all your bad dialogue probably shouldn't reach the recording stage. That's like kind of the idea is that like by the time that it gets to the people who actually have to present the line, it should be pretty good. I don't think you understand what a constructed language is. Like, it's a genuine language, and I mean, it's kind of dumb because it's just substitution, but they like made a whole language, so that part's not an issue. The issue is, okay, so it rhymes in your stupid made-up language, fine. Why does it also have to rhyme in the real language?
Voice directors or the actors that we have in all the different studios doing this stuff.
Each one of the game's 60,000 plus lines of dialogue has to be translated into multiple languages for release around the world. Even the songs played in Skyrim's taverns had...
Thank you. This is the one useful insert that you possibly have said. Even though I don't think it's true. 60,000 lines of dialogue. I'm pretty sure I've seen that... Hang on. I've seen that, like... I've seen that contested somewhere. I thought it was like 40,000. Oh no, wait, they switched to DVD. They could do more. Now this article corroborates 60,000 lines. Okay. We got more... More proof.
Oh, there once was a...
Do you Americans need a language certificate to get diplomas for master or PhD at least? No! At no point do we ever take an English class. Of course, you have to get... Like, literally, you have to take, like, the most classes you'll take to get pretty much any fucking, like... high school diploma to college level degree will be English and writing classes.
Oh, there.
Please, I cannot stand to listen to this.
Pérorait la rapière à la main, se vantant de victoire et d'énormes butins.
Doch still ward der Rote, kein Wort mehr er sagt, als Schild meint Mathilda beherzt vor ihn trat.
Siamo stanchi di udire siffatte menzogne, orso diamo un limite a queste vergogne.
Oh, that version fucks. Hey, how come all these foreign language versions fuck more than the actual English one?
Empezaron la lucha Matilda y Ragnar, con fiereza se oyeron espadas chocar.
Oh, okay, that one's not so good, but... The English one's the worst one, though.
Hero named Ragnar the Red who came riding.
Like, I hate all of the English bard singers.
Se vantant de victoire et d'énormes butins.
Doch still ward der Rote, kein Wort mehr er sagt, als Schild meint Mathilda beherzt vor ihn trat.
What fucking language is this where he's like trying to say 6,000 fucking syllables in the same meter? Maybe it just sucks because we can understand it. I don't know. It sounds nice. Like it's that effect of like Japanese Harkon.
我々の素性については娘から聞いていることだろう。吸血鬼であるだけではない。我々はスカイリムの吸血鬼の中でも最も古く、
Like sometimes stuff that's not in English is just better. Oh no, trust me. If it's that part where he's like fitting in like 50 syllables per like fuck, what's the term? But yeah, like he's like trying to fit too many words into it. Damn, that's a big musical interlude. Can we just like not do those?
My favorite thing to do in this game that I was really anxious to get back to with an Elder Scrolls game as opposed to Fallout was all the nature sounds in the variety.
There's no nature in Fallout game. Well, I guess there's no nature in Bethesda's Fallout games. That makes sense, actually. Haven't you heard of haikus? Oh my god, you like just so dropped the mic on me. Except you missed the part where I said that he's trying to fit too many syllables into the meter.
Variety of, because we have all of the different regions that you can visit in the game. There are the 2 forest regions, which are easily the most alive and you know, full of buzzing insects, and you know, the trees swaying in the breeze and all this sort of stuff. There's probably a greater frequency of rain to sunny days. You know, just more variety in general.
Like, what's a meter? It's a measure. It's a unit of measurement. No, okay, here's my point. Jesus Christ. Skyrim Bard song. Can I just get the I wonder if anybody's done the instrumental. Oh no, this is just them playing the instruments.
Take back our home.
Alright, start. Oh, hang on. I forgot the timing's fucked. Start.
All hail to Ulfric. You are the High King.
Alright, stop. Now, a language has to convey the what she just said. But the issue is that they are, like, the way that their language works is trying to fit too many words into such a limited amount of time in the song. What they would have to do is change the song to accommodate the fact that their language takes longer to convey that same sort of information. Or, you know, just rework the translation to be fucking better. Because, I mean, like, you know, I don't know if it's actually a good iteration of the song. It's so stage playish. Well, the bard music's fucking terrible because, like, the longest pauses between lines takes place during the music.
General, so that you make a good contrast with the more desolate areas, all the snow-whipped plains in the mountains. The tundra is fairly barren too.
Mark, you're putting me to sleep here, buddy.
That's great. And I like that stuff because you do, even though we have the really big ticket items in the game, the dragons are the most obvious.
Oh my
Combat,
god. Oh god.
Stuff that really stands out, the loud, in-your-face, sets of sounds. The ones you're going to hear the most, whether you know it or not, is all the naturey stuff when you're out exploring.
80%
Your brain noticed.
of games out there.
Uh-oh. Emil's back. And I can tell from orbit that this is going to be an insight. What did Jesus tell you to do, buddy?
Draw upon sound libraries, right?
Hang on, what?
80% of games out there draw upon sound libraries.
Okay, you just pulled that out of your ass. Based on what? God, that's annoying to do. Alright, I guess I gotta put it back up. It's gonna have the wrong thing. Source. Doctor, trust me on this one.
%80 of games out there.
Like, literally, he is based. He comes in, says some unsubstantiated shit, leaves.
Draw upon sound libraries, right? That you've heard a million times before. And that's the one thing Mark doesn't. Mark Foley's his own stuff all the time. And it's all new sounds. It's going to be anything from a door opening to, like, the sword. Like, and it's funny because some of these sounds are stuff that I've supplied him with. Like, the sound of the sword unsheathing is one of my swords. The sound of...
Why am I not surprised? Of course he has a sword. Of course. I bet he owns guns too, just because he... No, I bet he doesn't go that far. I bet he just sticks to the swords. One of his swords has a really shitty scabbard. Well, yeah, it's like... So I guess all his swords are like really dull. I mean, it makes sense. He's probably like... Probably into Hema. Or it's just like, ornamental.
The guy blowing the horn is my horn.
Is that why it sounds like an asthmatic blowing a horn and not an actual horn blower? Hey, fuck you, buddy. Blow my horn.
I hear it in the game. I'm like, hey, that's my horn. So he does his own sound work, and it's amazing.
He does his own sound work. You literally just said, yeah, he uses a bunch of sound effects that I gave him.
But so I just do it on my own time. So I've got, like the fancy recording setup when I really want.
I'm like, hey, that's my horn. So he does his own sound work, and it's amazing.
All right, how long did ML show up for this time? 37 seconds. In 37 seconds, ML established that a completely baseless claim that 80% of games just use sound libraries. He owns a sword, and the sound of the guy blowing the horn in the game is him. Thank you for your contribution. to this developer diary about Mark Lampert that you weren't invited to.
But so I just do it on my own time.
I'm almost tempted to like just cut all the Emil stuff out.
So I've got, you know, like the fancy recording setup when I really want to get all the gear together and lug it somewhere and go out and spend the whole day out, you know, in some location. And then I have the super portable iPod-sized version, which I can keep in my backpack or my jacket all the time. The more
I love that he's carrying around a sound recorder. It's such a sound designer thing to do.
I do it, the more I'll you know, want to continue to do at the beginning of each project, because I realize as you go on, eventually you run out of time and you don't have as much time to just go gather sounds. You're all of a sudden getting locked into your early decisions fairly quickly. And so the more I can gather up in the beginning, you will find uses for it. I don't know, you know, stuff you recorded that you never planned on using for that specific thing suddenly becomes useful to you.
Sounds like a really extreme reaction to criticism of Morrowind's sound banked magic system. Well, I don't know why he would be bothered by that. He didn't work on Morrowind. And, you know, most people don't care. It's like, yeah, a game from 2002 used a sound library. They also used the default animations that came with the software. That's why everything looks so fucking goofy. You know, it's like everybody knows that Morrowind was kind of like really cheap with some stuff.
It's like you look around your workshop and you've got all these tools laying around and, all right, I don't have a hammer to drive this nail, but I can use the back of this screwdriver. It does kind of work. It's sort of like that, I guess.
Occasionally I'll record.
Oh, he's back.
It's sort of like that, I guess.
You can tell he's coming because he's like 10% louder than Mark.
Occasionally I'll record some placeholder audio or, you know, do some shouts or something, and I'll go into the sound booth, right? And you never know what
Okay, so let's be clear here. Emil's day just seems to be like he walks around the office kind of just contributing to everything, but not really accomplishing anything. So it's like, you know, we're having the storyboard meeting on the Dark Brotherhood, and meanwhile Emil's like in the sound department, like recording dragon shouts or something. Like, what kind of fucking employee is he?
And you never know what you're gonna find in the booth. Like boxes of cereal, pieces of wood, shards of glass. It's like
I've tried everything to get him to stop coming here. I've put everything in there. Literally, I made him take his shoes off and I covered the floor in broken glass and he still came in my office. I cannot get this man to leave.
Shards of glass. It's like an ocean nightmare in there. I swear to God, it's so dangerous. And there's so much crap laying around, and you never know. And then like, there was something. Like, Mark, what could you possibly need this for? And he's like, oh,
getting you out of my office. And then Emil here's like, oh, you know, I need it for sound effects.
That's the sound of this. That's the sound of this. And when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, you can totally hear it. Like, that's the lockpick in the lock, or that's this.
My wife has to put up.
So there you go. His contribution for that little insert was, I don't really do anything. I just kind of wander the office like an employed homeless man. Meanwhile, Mark's like, Jesus Christ, Emil, I am one man. I have to make this game sound good. Can you please let me work? I am working to the bone. It is November 3rd, and I am still working on the sounds of this game.
My wife has to put up with me stopping all the time, and you know, you're supposed to be off doing your thing on this trip, and I've got a lot of recordings where it started off before I edited them. They all began, you could hear her footsteps walking off because we were hiking around England, driving all over the place and stopping and hiking about. And so it's me recording some bird, which is kindly sitting in one place and chirping for me. Because the other thing that happens is you hit record, they will fly away. They just know. And then an airliner flies over, or some guy starts up a chainsaw somewhere in the distance. It just happens.
Yes, because Emil Stole the skeleton key, which affects the lock of all employees of Bethesda.
Yeah, so anyway, you hear her walking away as I lag behind for a while to get 1 minute of this bird or cricket or whatever. And they're in the game, so it was worth it, you know? Hang on, I gotta
Oh, that's the first I've heard of that being an issue.
record this one button. It's got a funny mechanical ping to it or something like that. That sounds like something we could use one day in some game somewhere. Or this door squeaks, and put the recorder in the dryer and bang on the side of the dryer. I use that one a lot. We've never had a dryer in a game, but it's just this good heavy rattle sound, you know, and you get all sorts of
I feel like this man would... Someone should get this man like a drum kit.
stuff out of it. And you filter everything out, you know, except the bass. Now it's this giant boom, like kind of a sweetener, as they call them, and you add it to explosions or whatever, you know. Take nothing but the high end and time stretch it and loop it. Now it's this rattly machine loop. I don't know how many times I've used that dryer, but it's in the game. Keep an ear out for the dryer.
Put some keys in it.
Yeah, exactly. There's no...
Your wife's like, no, not the keys.
Not the cat.
Actually, the cat is in the game, too.
Yeah, well, listen, Emil. I'm sorry for randomly assaulting you, but I really needed sound effects of flesh smacking flesh. You have to understand.
Yeah, you wouldn't spot it unless...
No. I'm aware that sound design people are like this.
I told you this is the cat doing this one sound, but our cat is in the game.
But can you mix a good podcast?
This game, man, we made this thing too big.
Can you say that again?
This game, man, we made this thing too big. And that's great, you know, if you're buying the game to play it. I know I'd be, and I will be excited. I may actually play this one because there's so much stuff in it that I don't even know about. And that also scares the hell out of me because it's just...
Oh my god, please, Mark, no! Don't do it! Don't market Skyrim. Please, we made it so far. You provided so much insight.
so big.
We may have gone too far in a few places.
I can't even ever hope to play all of it.
Someone fed him that line. Fuck off. Fuck off, dude. Really?
It's just so big.
Wait a minute, that line.
It's just so big. I can't even ever hope to play all of it.
This is like... Oh yeah, the QA testers have played like 195,000 hours of Cyberpunk 2077.
Dave Schreiber, my other sound designer here, he's played a lot more of it than I have. And
Lazy bum. Stop playing fucking video games, loser. Get back to work.
so I've kind of counted on him to, you know, suss out a lot of the problems. He's just playing, playtesting the game, and there's this sequence where such and such a god that you meet does this thing and transports you into a portal and it's completely silent.
I was playing the game and I met a Daedric Prince and he started having really bad sibilance issues.
Like, oh, that's nice to find out about. Right now, So, is there a way we can cram a sound onto this, this giant event? Thankfully, yes. Otherwise, I'd be here saying, this was part of my minimalist vision. It's kind of a John Cage thing that I'm... going for here. But I know that I don't worry about that stuff too much as long as we catch most of it, because
God, does anybody even know about Bethesda Montreal?
I play other
I know about Austin.
games at home, and I realize how much more picky I am with my own stuff, and the little things that I worry about, that when I play other games and listen for them, don't bother me in the least. There's a game I'm playing at home right now that I can hear this one machine looping. There's a little tick in the loop, and it's probably like when they made the sound and looped it, it was fine. And when the sound got compressed for the Xbox, something happened and it got thrown off, and now there's a little pop. I'm probably one of 12 people who noticed. And man, I don't care one bit. I'm having too much fun, and the rest of it sounds great. And I'm sure their audio director and sound designer,
Wow, what a healthy
are
mindset.
pulling their hair out about it. Doesn't matter, guys. It's cool. Having a good time. The guns sound awesome. So really, you let stuff go by, and the same with everyone else on the team.
Yeah, Bethesda motto, you let stuff go by.
Animators play the game. I'm sure they are agonizing over, oh, we could have polished this one thing. I wish I could have fixed that problem. Stuff that I do not care about in the least. I'm just excited that they gave me the chance to dress my character up in these stupid clothes and go be an idiot.
Well, I care. Please use a de-esser. Okay, that's... Whoops. Alright. 10 seconds from an hour. We did pretty good today. So, yeah. That is that. Fuck it! That seems to be the other Bethesda motto.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
No, there it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
Okay, but... Now, I can't read it. There's no words on it.
Okay. Ready? Sure.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out?
Sting is going to do, it's a video. Sting video.
What is...
For credits.
I don't know what that means, to play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live.
There we go. Say the line, Bill. Pick a random page here, and... Oh, zoom out. If you've seen one half-naked barbarian, why do these disasters always seem to come in threes? The saga of witches and the barbarians who loved them continues southeast of Voss. The easiest way to reach the barbarian Botrir is to follow the coast south to the stronghold Endorian, and then follow the road west to a Yeah, the easiest way. Could just also take the road. Head north toward Hanad. What? Nobody knows what Hanad is as a base of reference. You'll soon come upon another muscular guy standing beside the road wearing not much. He uses colorful language to describe his plans for the witch he was escorting to Telarune. Quote, I'll tear her throat out and wear it as a belt, end quote. To hear him tell it, Iveri Lethri... God, this is my least favorite Dunmer last name. Lethri, but it's 2 L's. Iveri Lethri seemed real friendly, and then all of a sudden she put him under a spell, stole his possessions, including his prize axe, Widowmaker, and left him in the road in his fur undies. Now, given our previous experience with barbarians and witches, the barbarians can't keep their hands to themselves. You may want to see a Russian hands and Roman fingers topic before you commit to the atrocity. You may want to see a Russian hands and Roman fingers topic before you commit to the atrocities Beautrier has planned. But you've said only that you're going to help him get his axe back. That's pretty natural, right? This is terrible. Oh no. Don't tell me this is the big part of this is just maps. Does this look like tribunal maps? Yeah, just like maps of tribunal areas. Oh man, why are there so many pages of this? Secret Masters. Your romance with the Khajiit thief Anasi can eventually bring you into contact with a woman named Seinindi. She has the highest acrobatic skill of any character in the game. Open parenthetical, 100, close parenthetical, and consequently can train you to a very high levels. Seinindi is one of 27, quote, secret masters, end quote, in Morrowind, each a trainer gifted in a discipline that corresponds to one of your 27 skills. But she's the only master with whom the game actually directs you to train. No, I don't think that one's true. There are 26 others. There's rumors about these NPCs. Like, that's how you're supposed to find most of them, is like there's... You ask about rumors, and it's like, yeah, I heard there's like the person at the Fort Buckmoth teaches block. There are 26 others. You might also, I don't think that's true. I don't think every skill had a master trainer in Morrowind. You might be able to guess at the identity of some from references to them in skill books, and one security expert, Hyacinde. Yeah, okay, yeah, the Thieves Guild, like, the Thieves Guild directly points you at the security trainer. But in most cases, you would have to find them entirely on your own. Except, I have prepared, he's prepared a handy list of all the master trainers. So... let's jump to another random page. It's more fucking maps. This time of Blood Moon areas. Why would you... okay, hang on. I don't understand the formatting. Why would you show all the maps and then tell us about the quests? I love that they got pictures of all these NPCs. Imperial cult. Oh no, I can imagine this is horrible for guide. Oh no, I want to read that one. Eyeless Triptor quests. Well, this is different. In the 7 Almoner quest issued by Eyeless Triptor, who shares the downstairs room at the Imperial chapters with Cuniphius, you are a cult fundraiser, collecting gold or, donor, and the odd item to support the organization's good works. The quests are of no more than moderate difficulty. Is literally just like the easiest thing you could do in the game. Fucking Almoner quests. So you fucking serious? Okay. Well, I'm gonna wrap things up here. I'm gonna keep tomorrow's stream pretty short, to be completely honest. That's because it's Thanksgiving. It'll be something you'll be able to listen to when you're bullshitting with the family, sharing notes about all the things you didn't do this year, and you need something to get through the day. Do you remember every single quest? No. I didn't even talk about every single. So, oh God, no. No parasocial relationships. I'm not your mommy. I'm not even your daddy. I'm nobody. Don't do that.